Welcome to another episode of the Strange Motion Way podcast. I'm your host, Tim Strange, along with
Carrie Strange.
Doing this remotely. Carrie is up in Bowling Green in an RV for LS Fest set up. And so we kind of have an in-house guest. We've had this a couple times. So this guy sitting next to me here, one, he's been the hardest to pin down. Two, he's the closest that lives like 20 minutes away from us. He started out, you can look at some awesome YouTube videos of him being a singer down on Sunset Strip in the band Nova Rex. We're going to talk about that. He was from Canada. Canada.
That's right, eh?
We'll talk a little bit about that and Coming to America, not the Eddie Murphy movie. And he did some TV with long hair, got another TV, had to cut his hair. We have our great friend Kevin Tetz here. He is the reason we are in Tennessee. He asked me, met him at the SEMA show one night. Carrie was in a hurry, didn't want to go, and I was dusting the car off. We had the Copper Hanson Buick there. It was not in the greatest spot, but I like to dust it off and visit with people as people were leaving the show. Met Kevin the first time. I was always a fan of Kevin. I was surprised he even knew who I was. And then eventually he says, hey, you want to come volunteer on my show? Which I did. We'll talk briefly about that. And then a few months after that, they flew me down for a screen test, which turned into my TV show and moving to Tennessee. So we love that we don't have to scoop snow. So thank you, Kevin.
You're welcome. I don't have to scoop snow either.
Yeah. So Kevin Tetz, Paintucation. He's got a new cool thing that you're working on. So first, let's go back in time. Little Canadian Kevin, how did you get your start into cars? Did you have an uncle that touched you inappropriately that was in a hot rod or a van? Or this is going to be hard to keep clean with Kevin sitting right beside me.
You didn't give him the rules before we started either.
I didn't realize there was rules. What are the rules?
We try not to cuss too much, but you can cuss. You're not a cusser anyway. Don't be racist. That's no problem, unless we make fun of Canadians. Is that racist?
It's not really a race. It's sort of no, it's not.
Okay.
We can make fun of Canadians.
Bullying. It's bullying.
See, my wife's hair is modeled after another famous Canadian of Ian Johnson right now.
Oh, yeah.
They look like they should be a couple.
Yeah.
And, I lost my train of thought there on that. Oh, don't be racist. Don't threaten to kill anybody. And if you're going to talk negative about somebody, just don't say their name or their company. You could say, if we get to anything that you had trouble with somebody, because if they're not here to defend themselves, we can't talk bad about somebody.
So that's a lot to remember.
Are we done now?
Or you can just say alleged.
Podcast in history.
It's okay. It was great seeing you guys, and I'll show myself out.
We use the word allegedly a lot, and sometimes it just becomes a drinking game for those that drink, and we don't drink. So
right,
yeah. If you say something that statute of limitations could run out.
So we've got a drinking game on my YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every time I say Bob's your uncle,
they drink.
Yeah. Well,
we
have get a poker chip or something.
We have some people when we say allegedly, they supposedly drink.
Gotcha.
So
okay.
Some of them get very drunk, I think, but we'll probably sound better if we're drunk. So let's go back to little Kevin.
Little Kevin. So I got my start working on cars because you and I have talked about this. I couldn't afford to buy a car, and I grew up around cars. My dad's a car guy, was a car guy. We lost him 2 years ago. And he always had a side job. He always had a side project going on no matter where we were. Moved a whole bunch of times when I was a kid, but he was a paint and body guy. And
did he have to move for work or because his son got kicked out of schools?
No, he started moving around before we were even in school. My earliest memories of cars were I was like 4 years old.
What did he have for cars?
So he never hung on to anything very long, but one of my favorite cars that he ever had was a 63 Studebaker Hawk.
Ooh.
Yeah, very
Being
cool
from
car.
Canada, was it right-hand drive?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. He knows better than that. He's trying to poke the bear. But no, so that little Studebaker, he had an orange 65 Mustang that I'll never forget. And my mom told me that I was probably 3 years old, and I have this distinct memory of him peeling out of the driveway in this orange '65 Mustang. And I'm 3 years old. We were in a city called Vernon, British Columbia, Canada. It's on the west coast. If you don't know, it's above Washington State. There's Washington State, and then there's BC above there. And
we went to Victoria.
Victoria's stunning
for BMX once.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. So those are my earliest. My Uncle Herb had a salvage yard. My cousins Glenn, Wayne, and Alan. We did a podcast last summer. We called it Cousin Bro Fest. Everybody came down and we gave a paint job and a restoration to my my cousin Alan's truck.
That was the first time we tried getting you on. Was that week, and you're like, nope, we're doing this. And
no.
I kept saying, you call me if you need help, but I think I shut my phone off.
Yeah, I think so. No, and that was amazing because everybody came down. They trailered Uncle Herb's truck. It was Al's truck, a 56 F100, 2,800 miles each way.
Wow.
To come down to my shop and do this. And it was glorious. But they picked the weekend of Triple Crown, which is this coming weekend. So it's literally a year ago today. And I kept saying, don't come this weekend, don't come this weekend, don't come this weekend. And then they
come this weekend.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So it was awesome. And
because some people, if they're not, we get off track here a little bit. If they're not like in the car industry and like you're working obviously with AMD or in AMD's booth.
Yeah.
If you're not really in the car industry and you say, I have a car show that I have to be at, my family don't get it either.
Yeah.
It's like we have contracts and sponsorships and event things. And
well, people don't realize when you work a car show, when Tim works a car show, he's working, you're up at probably 5 or 6 and you're studying lead sheets, you're studying spec sheets on cars.
No,
people that you don't know. Well,
I wing it.
Well, you fake it pretty
The
good.
only thing I prep for is BMX stuff.
But my point is that it's work.
Yeah.
Right? It's hard work. And when I'm working AMD, we're doing run and gun video. We're doing interviews with partners and manufacturers and things like that. And then you got set up and tear down and all that kind of stuff. Carrie understands.
Yeah,
set up and
she's doing manual labor right now, setting up for LS Fest. That of all the how many events do you guys run a year, Carrie?
10,563.
LS Fest is the hardest one that they do. But when we do this, it's different than being in the shop and working with our hands.
Yeah.
By the end of the day, we're mentally exhausted.
Yes.
We're not physically, but mentally.
We're absolutely fried. Yeah, for sure. And, and it's the best and worst thing in the world because everybody's there. You want to talk to people. You want to say hi and glad hand and catch up and all kind of stuff. But I'm just toast. At the end of the day, my brain is fried, and all I want to do is go back to the hotel, take an air bath, and go to bed. Yeah. But so I don't know what were we talking?
We talked about your family coming down, so let's go. We're still
okay. So
we're in Canada, little Kevin.
Yeah. So and I grew up in a town called Oliver, BC. Oliver had one blinking traffic light. Tiny little town. Uncle Herb had a salvage yard. Grew up in those cars, and that's where my first several cars came from. And
so was there a junkyard car? Like we used to go to Maury's Junkyard in Cambridge, Illinois, all the time, right outside of Cambridge, and they always usually lasted a few years, but they either had an old pickup truck or a little import car with no trunk on it and the torch and everything. And if you were lucky and Marv from Maury's trusted you, you got to drive the car out by yourself. I was probably 13 the first time I got to drive it through. You're driving like you think you're a Duke's boy, Duke boy, and allegedly slide into stuff. Did you guys have a yard car?
There was several yard cars. So in Canada, a lot of the older cars are British cars. So Morris Minors, Anglias, things like that. People have never heard of those cars. And a lot of Studebakers for some reason. But Uncle Herb had stacks of these Morris Minors for some reason. And they're decent little cars.
I dig those cars.
They're really
I don't fit in them very well, but I dig them.
No, and we're smaller than you and shorter also. But so what Uncle Herb and Dad used to do, they would cut the roofs off of these cars, pull the doors off, put a door bar in, and we'd call them bush buggies. We'd go up camping, and if the car broke down, you just left it there because there was so many back in the salvage yard, it didn't matter. And those are the cars I learned to drive in. So obviously, 3 on the tree, 3 floor shift, clutching, all that, whatever. I mean, that's how I learned to drive a car. And so those are the yard cars. Of course, Uncle Herb always had a wrecker, and we just, and it was really cool to be able to learn like that because Uncle Herb didn't care. We'd ride our bikes or whatever, and then we'd go and work on a car. And me and my cousin Wayne would try and, I've got these memories of trying to start these 52 Chevys, and So those cars, the smell, the look, the feel of those cars, that's what, and I didn't even know it at the time, but that was my bonding with loving cars and fixing them and what.
Did you work in the yard any, like have to go take off parts, or was it self?
Oh, he didn't trust us. No, that was before, growing up in high school, I had summer jobs. Where I grew up, it was fruit belt all the way down into Washington State. Everything except citrus grew there. So our summer jobs were picking fruit. And spring jobs or spring break, we'd be tying grapevines because there's huge vineyards up there too. So we tie grapevines, pick fruit. The fruit crop would start in June with cherries and go all the way through fall, and it would end with apples in the fall. And so there's always something to do, no matter how long.
So you would just go from farm to farm working for all this? Yeah. Like I would go bale hay for different farmers when I was high school. Yeah. And, sort pigs and all that stuff.
Yeah. So whatever. And the crops would come in over time. So you just pick what was coming in. And there was big packing houses in that area and all that kind of stuff. And that was, you didn't get paid squat, but it was something, and we got paid piecemeal. And the harder you worked, the more money we made. And I got to buy a bicycle, and then I got to buy some clothes. And then when I wanted a car, I picked fruit until I had enough money to buy a car from Uncle Herb.
What was your first car?
My first car was a 53 GMC truck.
At what age?
What's that?
How old were you when you got your first car?
I was 14, and I had that, and I had no business having that truck. It was terrible. And I traded that.
How early could you get a driver's license? Because in some Midwest farming states, you could get, if you were a farm kid, you could get a license at like 14.
Yeah, we weren't really farm kids, so we couldn't do that. Some of the kids that were, there was a big Portuguese community up there, and those kids could get farm licenses because they were literally working their orchards and stuff, but we couldn't.
That didn't stop you from driving, did it?
No. No. So, and I might have lied. I might have been 15 when I had that GMC, and I traded it for a 68 Fairlane two-door hardtop 302. Yeah, it was a neat little car, and I wanted to do body work on it, but I was terrible at body work. And that car, it was like a gold color with a vinyl top, and I sold it to my cousin.
So living up there, because in the Midwest, everything rotted. Yeah, you were in Canada, but you're also closer. How far from the ocean were you?
Actually, about 6 hours inland. So it's really interesting for old cars because we were protected by 2 mountain ranges, and it was a very mild climate.
So they didn't rust too bad up there?
Not too bad, no. Oh, wow. It was really good for a lot of old cars, and that whole Okanagan Valley was really, it preserved a lot of these old cars. So we had access to these cars. What's that?
What did you just say? Okinawa?
Okanagan.
Oh, I misunderstood that.
So the legend of the Okanagan, the lake monster.
Really? Is this like the Loch Ness monster?
Yeah, there's a lake chain that goes down through the Okanagan. Look this up.
Okay. Did you ever see it?
Never saw it. We smoked a lot of weed trying.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
You have to say allegedly.
But we never saw it. And the monster is called Ogopogo. Sounds like
so it was like a Loch Ness type of thing.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay.
And First Nations, the Native peoples, the legends that go back a millennia.
Oh, cool! I'll have to look that up.
Yeah, for sure. It's really interesting. Local folklore, allegedly.
Because like when we were dating, I would take her snipe hunting.
Did you fall for that, Carrie?
No, she didn't.
No, you're smarter than that.
No. Okay, so did they have schools in Canada?
Yes, we had schools. We had actually, yeah.
What kind of student were you?
So, interesting question. Once I figured out that, well, we didn't figure it out. Once I found my lane. So the Canadian school system, in the 10th grade, they would sit you down and qualify you for what pathway you wanted to take. So we could either do arts and sciences, which is, math, science, all that kind of stuff. Literature and university career path, or industrial. And they would literally find your aptitude and say, you're more suited for this, which might have been code for, we don't think you're smart enough to do that. And so I got funneled into trade classes, into woodworking classes, home construction classes, automotive classes. At the same time, didn't mention that my dad is a paint body guy, who's also a musician. And so I always had guitars, I always had music classes and stuff like that.
Were you in a high school band?
I was, and it wasn't
Like
the high school band.
But so you weren't the band geek at school, but were you in like a rock and roll
We
band?
had
or
rock
something?
bands, yeah,
Okay.
absolutely, yeah.
What were you guys playing at this time?
We were trying desperately to play anything. We were horrible, but we were doing it. We would, get in there, and we were doing, 70s rock stuff, and just kind of schlocky music, but doing it, and it kept us focused. We didn't go out and get, rowdy and do typical teenage stuff because we were trying to become.
I assume that your awesome, beautiful wife, Judy, will not listen to this because she does not want to hear me and you talking more. So were you in a rock band because you loved the music, or was there ulterior motives of like chicks love rock stars?
I was in a band because I wanted to get the hell out of Oliver, BC.
You wanted to get good enough to get on the road.
Good enough to get on the road and pursue the dream and become Van Halen, and I wouldn't have to work another day in my life. Which obviously meant that I didn't understand the music industry. But no, that was a huge motivation for me wanting to get out. And I don't want to sit and everybody has stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has childhood stuff that they go through. And I wanted to get as far away from my childhood stuff as I possibly could.
So you have your good school question, Carrie? You didn't really ask that one.
Were you a jock?
No.
No, you usually ask if he was a good student.
Oh, were you a good student?
Once I found my lane, yeah. Because I excelled in I'm a visual learner. I don't know what that means these days. But I learned by observing and by doing, and I was really good at all the shop classes, electronics classes, and I started doing theater and choir and stuff like that.
Were you gonna play?
I was.
What were you in the play? Oh, okay, can we guess? Mm-hmm. Okay. So can we ask what year this was?
Yeah, we need to know the year.
1977.
You were Peter Pan.
No.
Carrie, you have a guess? Cinderella? Were you Cinderella?
Were you I can't think of his name. You were the guy in Greece. You were in Greece.
Danny Zuko? Were you Danny Zuko?
I'll give you a clue. Pigpen.
You did a Peanuts play? Like the Snoopy in the gang?
Pigpen.
You were Pigpen?
I was Charlie Brown.
You were Charlie Brown?
I could see it.
You're a good man, Charlie Brown.
Yeah, no, I don't see that. Me, I understand. This watermelon head. Your head is not big enough to be Charlie Brown.
No, I can see it because he's short.
Well, and yeah, Charlie Brown had issues.
Can you do the Peanuts dance?
No.
Did you have to learn the Peanuts dance?
Yeah.
Oh. I have never heard any school do the Peanuts crew. I don't think I ever have. Have you, Carrie?
Well, it was a musical. So, it was fun.
Now I'm really confused on the Peanuts gang singing. Did Lucy did you fall like you were kicking a football?
We did that scene, yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
There has to be a video of this.
No.
There has to.
There was cameras back then.
It can't be any more embarrassing than what we're getting ready to come up to.
Judy, help us out here. We need to see this.
Yeah. You're Canadian people? If relatives listen to this, please send us a video of.
If there's video of that, I want to see it.
I used to have a shirt because I had one at the Club Homeboy. It was a BMX club.
Yeah.
They did a slight knockoff, the yellow with the black stripe. I wore that shirt out. I love that shirt.
Yeah.
So what's the name of your school again?
It was Southern Okanagan Secondary School. That was a high school.
Write that down, Carrie.
SOSS.
We have Canadian contacts.
We do. Because here's the deal. Everybody in Canada knows each other. So we're just going to go to the people that we know up there. Yeah.
And people joke about that. Oh, you're from Canada. Do you know my friend? But we think Americans think all Canadians know each other.
Yeah.
But if you're in the car world, you kind of know JF, you, Ian, DW Horton. So it's like, it's like, somebody in your Canadian meet, they're like, oh, yeah, I know Kevin, or I know Ian, or I know JF, or DW. Yeah. So, and you guys only live like a mile over the border, right?
Right. That's it. Otherwise, it's too cold to live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, did you graduate high school?
I did.
Like, not a super senior? Like 4 years and out? Do they go extra years in Canada? Is it 12?
No, it's through grade 12. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I did graduate. Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't have to.
How many was in your graduating class?
64, I think.
Okay.
Very small school.
We had 30 some in both of ours. So
Yeah. Yeah.
We had somebody on the other day. So, we had a small school, had 200 in my class.
You guys awesome. Probably had kind of the same experience in high school that I did. And yeah. And so again, everybody knew everybody.
And I love
knew
it.
everybody.
I would have not. If I went to a big school with like 500 kids in my age group class.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, my parents wouldn't have made me graduate, but I think I would have struggled worse.
Yeah.
Being lost in the crowd.
Yeah.
I'm glad I went to a small school.
Yeah, I am.
I totally am.
I am too. Yeah, we had it was actually when I look back on we remember things differently than we experienced them, and it was actually pretty dang good.
Yeah, no phones, no internet,
no cell phones.
There was
a smoking section in the parking lot, and where you could go out and smoke. I never did smoke. I still don't.
I'm pretty sure our school had a smoking room for the teachers.
Yeah. And if you had a truck, you're going to have a rifle on the rack.
It was okay because you were going hunting after school.
Right.
Yeah. It's a different time. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. So out of high school, what did you do? What were you driving then when you graduated high school?
I had a POS truck. It was an F100 1963 unibody.
Oh.
Short bed.
Okay.
Yep. Again, it came from my Uncle Herb's salvage yard and
Did you have a truck so you could haul? Were you playing guitar then? Because I know you play guitar now.
Yeah, that was partly to do me. I was trying to figure stuff out. I got a job in a construction company. I was a contractor that built swimming pools and did sidewalks and stuff like that.
How long was your hair at this time?
My hair, I was trying to have long hair. Okay. It might have been past collar length.
Okay.
Trying pretty hard. I got pretty good at it later on.
You did?
But yeah, so I worked at the pool place. I worked at a roofing company. I got the summer off. So, the big...
How do you get the summer off if you work at a pool place?
The roofing company.
Oh, okay.
So I started out and we were making flashing to go around a chimney. And so there was this pen and box break. It was probably a 10-foot break in the big, long sections of flashing. Mm-hmm. And I had my thumb on the metal.
I was just getting ready to say that flashing can be like razor blades.
And I was setting the material in, and the guy down the other end thought that I was finished, and so he clamped his side down and bent it up, and it broke my thumb almost in half.
I was thinking like you sliced the hell out of yourself on the metal, because I sliced myself on flashing.
No,
it's like razor blade. It's so thin and sharp.
Oh, it's terrible. Yeah, but it was this thumb. So I broke this thumb, and it was on a cast up to my elbow, and workers' comp, and the summer off. But I had to shift with a cast up to my elbow, and so anyway.
I broke this hand when I was 16, and then I went instantly out when the cast was still soft, grabbed my Hearst T-handle on my Chevelle, squeezed it so I could still race BMX too, hence the hump and the bone, how it grew together. Wasn't the smartest idea, but I could still race BMX, and I could have a death grip on my T-handle shifter.
My best friend in high school, Frank Elsner, and if Frank's still listening to this, his dad had a bricklaying company, and I worked for Hubert for a while. And Hubert was amazing. He was a contractor. He was immigrated from Germany. He was a master craftsman in Germany, and that really means something. You have to be more than a journeyman to get your master craftsman status. And he offered me the chance to do a career. And I wanted nothing to do with it. It was the hardest work I ever did. I found muscles in my body that I didn't know that should be there. But bricklaying is no joke.
Yeah.
And so between the construction company, breaking my thumb, laying bricks, maybe a chance to work on some cars here and there, I bust tables at a restaurant. Rock and roll was it. Mm-hmm. That's the solution. All of this other stuff are problems.
All this time when you had all these other jobs, you were still playing music.
Yeah, still playing music. And
were you mostly singing then?
I was mostly a bass player then.
Okay.
Yeah. So mostly a bass player, but I could sing. Music's in my family on both sides. So I was unafraid to sing. I could sing pretty good. And I was, I just got funneled to the front of the bus. Nobody else wanted to sing. So why didn't you do it? Well, we could find a bass player. We need a singer. Mm-hmm. So I got shoved up to the front that way and ended up figuring out how to do that.
Was that Nova Rex at that time?
No, not even close. I've been in a dozen bands that were actual bands.
Yeah, most people you're close to this, and I had punk rock close to a little small record deal or a little mini tour, and then their bus breaks down, and there's just rock and roll lifestyle has parallels to the car world. 100%. It's not for everybody.
Yeah,
it's hard as hell. Half the world doesn't understand when you're really doing it. And sometimes you make it good, and sometimes if you're just in the middle, it's still pretty good.
Yeah,
but if you're at the bottom, it sucks.
And you can make a living doing it, but the chances of you going over that fulcrum, over the top, and getting rich doing it, very, very slim.
Yeah, we've learned a lot being around Nashville. You and your music career, and our friend Shannon Silva and James Otto, and we got Jerry Horton's Mercury at my shop. Obviously, they did very well with Papa Roach, and still doing very well. And James has wrote songs. That's one big things, but he's not living in a gated community. He's doing very well and got some toys and cars and really nice house. And
I met a guy at Columbus Good Guys a few weeks ago, and he's a drummer for real popular group right now. They're called I can't remember who they're called. Breaking Benjamin.
Oh, okay.
This guy's a gearhead car guy. Okay. And so we were talking F-body stuff. He's doing the Bad to the Bone F-body Camaro. No, he's doing a Trans Am. So we were just talking about. So we got some mutual friends.
Yeah.
But the parallels between music and rock and roll and car stuff, it seems like it's a common interest, right? Yeah. A lot of people share both passions.
Yeah. Yeah. Very cool. So
with the car world is who you know. Same like with the music industry.
Yes. Connections, right place, right time, who you know, what you meet. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And it's and either one, here's the difference for me between the music industry and automotive repair. Let's just call it that, because what we do, restoration, that falls under that. The harder I worked at music didn't care. You're on the wheel, you're on the front swing of a trend that's coming in, or you're on the back swing of a trend that's going out. Your success has so little to do with how hard you work, and it doesn't even really matter how good you are. Timing is so important, and connections are so important. However, what I learned when I came off the road and I had to earn a living to be a productive member of my new family. The harder I worked, the more I got paid, the more it gave back to me. And so I fell in love with this
quicker results
for sure. And it was tangible. I could get a certification and I got a raise, and I could go through training classes and get better and be more proficient in the body shop and make more money, which was my goal, because I just spent 10 years of my adult life on the road. And I had a lot
before we leave the music, I want to talk about a little bit more of the music stuff. Because this is
for sure.
Kevin Tetz.
Yeah.
This is your life.
But I want to make the point very concisely. Music didn't care how hard I worked.
Right.
Working on cars, they give it back.
Yeah.
The harder I work on a car, the more it gives it back to me.
Yeah.
So I fell in love with that.
So what was people can find out about Nova Rex. Was that your biggest band that you were in? Was there another? I mean, you can get on YouTube and look up Nova Rex, REX.
Yes.
The singer is Kevin.
Yeah.
You guys were good. We give you a hard time because it was the spandex era. Okay. No shirt, vest, long hair. It was glam rock. And this one video is you guys playing on Hollywood Boulevard or Sunset Strip.
Yep.
And you guys were good.
Yeah.
And the story you told me is you were close to a big deal, and then damn Nirvana hit.
So that got blurred into the next band that we were really close to a deal. We had an independent contract, and it was a group called Sin City.
Okay. This was after Nova Rex?
This was after Nova Rex. So we starved to death with Nova Rex, and I moved back to Tallahassee, Florida. Did a touring gig with a group called Eli. We did frat parties and stuff all over the Southeast, and we were really, really good too. Great. It was a concert club act. We had 5 people on the road crew and 5 people on stage.
Oh wow.
We had merchandise. We had a follow spot guy. And then the lighting, it was a lot. We had over 1,000 lights, and hydraulic trusses and fog machines, and it was amazing.
In certain areas, not where we grew up in Midwest, but like say you're a really good Chicago band, or a really good LA band, or the Florida band, you could do well with that and not even leave this area.
We would do a string of 6 or 7 one-nighters and, make a couple grand each night. And that paid the bills. And the manager of the band had a recording studio. So what we were going to do with that group was to go and do one-nighters, make money, come back, record, and get signed and all that type of stuff.
At that time, there's still records, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Records? Was cassettes out yet?
Cassettes and CDs were just about to start. But I injured my voice in that band doing all those one-nighters, and I got paid extra to drive the truck, so I wasn't getting much sleep. And it was just a heavy schedule. We were doing covers and original stuff, so we were singing stuff like we would do songs by heart, and I could sing those high notes.
Oh, wow.
Yes. I had a 4-octave vocal range, and I could do anything. If I could think the note, I could sing it. And I just burned it out. And so came off the road from that, and I had to quit the band because I couldn't sing.
But Nova Rex is still playing.
Yes, there's 35 years later. Yeah.
So many years ago, it was before COVID. You went and sat in with them 2 nights.
Yeah.
Down at some heavy metal thing in Florida, wasn't it?
There's a new Hard Rock hotel opening up, and the bass player called me back, said, "Hey, we want to get you back in, blah, blah, blah." So I said, okay. So me and Judy, my wife is Judy, went down there and did that. And
hasn't Nova Rex had a VH1 behind the music on them?
No, they did a documentary.
Oh, okay.
And a part 2 of the documentary is called "It Ain't Easy Being Cheesy."
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, so that was.
But they're still out there grinding. Those guys are out there.
They're doing one-nighters, and they just played Rocklahoma, I think, and that's a big outdoor festival. But getting back to the Sin City thing, we were backed by a Swedish guy with more money than Davy Crockett. His son was a guitar player.
I don't think David Crockett was rich, was he?
Yes, he was.
Oh, he sold the coonskin hats.
Yes,
that's where he made his money.
The merch, right?
Yeah.
But we had
Carrie's zoning out. She's not even listening to us.
I am too.
To be successful. So we were going to tour, national tour, which we had the bus and all that stuff when he opened up for this guitar god named Greg Howe, to come back in LA and do label showcases and get signed, and it's over, man. Let's go. There's our trajectory. And during that tour, Nirvana and Pearl Jam, all of those guys started getting super traction up the charts. And by the time we got to our label showcases, I had burnt myself out again. So we did these showcases downtown LA at the Whiskey and all that stuff. They went, yeah, you guys are pretty good. You don't look like this. You don't sound like this.
Where's your flannel?
Don't wash your hair for about 6 weeks and come back and write completely different songs and wear some boots. And it was over. It was over.
So how was that though? I'm a music fan and I drove down. How was it playing down there in those places in LA?
Oh, it was intense.
Yeah.
So you heard about the pay to play thing, right? So in order to play the Whiskey, you have to buy every ticket for the Whiskey. And then you have to sell them individually.
Okay.
So that's when you get these rock and roll guys on the street flipping out tickets and trying to sell. You had to be an entrepreneur. You had to be a small business mind to be able to sell out your shows. So if you could do your own self-promotion, you could sell out the Whiskey.
Not knowing that you're learning all of this for your future, what you're doing.
Absolutely. Yeah. And all of that stuff ties into what I'm doing now. So all of those life lessons, they just accumulate. And I came off the road and I said, dang it, I've got 10 years of wasted time. I better get cracking. Let's go.
But in between off tours, you were working in shops at that time.
Yes. I got to work at terrible shops and incredible shops. And I learned a lot. I learned
all in Florida?
No. Out in LA, I worked at Alejandra Porsche, a very exclusive restoration place. We worked on British automobiles, German cars, Porsche cars. So I got to work on these classic 356s and learn how to block sand, learn how to buff, learn how to do the foundation. I learned how to sweep the floor. Very important. And I cut my teeth in there. I hated it at the time. But it was necessary, and I've got some other stories about the shop I worked at there. But I also got to work in Miami it was called Metro Auto Body. It was the closest thing to Earl Scheib that I've ever seen. Just a scuff and shoot chain of cars coming in, just volume. That's how they made their money. And I was a prepper. So
when you're working at one of my body shop managers at the second to last Chevy dealership I worked at, he came from not Earl Schreiber, Mako. What was it? The Midwest one. Was it a Mako? It was Mako.
Mako.
Yeah, Mako shop. Huh?
It was Mako.
Yeah.
I think it's Mako.
He was a manager there.
Yeah.
And that's what he always said. He says the volume, you can't help but get good.
Yeah.
Even if you don't want to.
Yeah.
You're just the painter guy.
Yeah.
You're painting 30 fenders a day. You're going to get good at it. You're sanding that many cars and prepping that many cars. You're going to get good at it, whether you're focused to be in there or not.
And even if you're not doing it quite right, you know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you ever leave that situation and come to another job, not only have you been trained to be very efficient, but you also know what's supposed to be done. So I don't ever discount somebody that has worked in those places.
Were you hourly or like commission? Like when I worked, my first body shop, I was hourly because I was learning. When I got out of college, I went to a couple dealerships. They were both like, you got a percentage of the estimate. So the harder you work, you could turn 70, 80 hours. I call it commission. Some people call it flat rate.
Right.
Yeah. If you hustled and everything went your well, you could make 70, 80 hours a week.
Yeah. The best I ever did, I was flat rate as a painter with a helper. I would pay the helper out of my cut, and he made good money. And we were turning upwards of 200 labor hours in a 6-day period. We worked our buns off. Yeah. We worked hard for that money, but we got paid.
I always think that some people, we had a kid that worked for us, and he was just quit learning after a point. He could have I still think I'm learning, you know? And I was like, we ended up having to let him go. We kept screwing some stuff up, and he was upset. Of course, he got let go, and he ended up working at a body shop. And he messages 6 months later. He goes, "You were right." He goes, "I needed to learn some efficiency that I wasn't learning with just two of us in the shop."
Yeah.
When he goes and sees how other guys are hustling, he's like, thinking, "Oh yeah, Tim's the boss, and he's been running his shop for a while. That's why he's a lot much better than me." But when he worked with guys like his age, you learn that, especially when you're on the flat rate commission. If you lollygagging or drinking coffee all day long, your paycheck will show at the end of the week.
I had a helper quit on me, and he got mad at me because I was pushing him, and I was saying, I was correcting. You have to do it like this. Trust me, do my way, infuse your way, whatever. But he got really mad at me. And you're too hard on me. You're pushing too hard. You're this and that. You won't let me do. And he got mad. He quit. He walked. And I had a great conversation with him about probably 10, 11 years later. And he said, "Kevin," he said, "I should have stayed." He said, "I've learned what you were trying to teach me." And he said, one of my biggest regrets is I didn't stay. And it was a huge compliment for me because I felt bad because, it's like I made him quit. Dang it. But it was, like I said, it was a huge compliment for him to pay to me. And he became a really good painter. And he's still doing that to this day. He's crackerjack. He's top notch. He's making a really, really good living right now too at an independent crash shop in Pulaski. And we're friends to this day. And so all that stuff under the bridge. But yeah, he was hot enough to spit fire when he walked out.
So how did you end up in Tennessee?
I followed a pretty girl here. My wife Judy. When we first started a relationship, I was living in Tallahassee, and
if some of you have heard me say this, Judy is totally one of them. My hashtags, hot chicks with low standards.
And I'm so grateful for that. Yeah.
Was she a groupie? Is that how you met her?
No, she was a
She's
designated.
Gonna punch me
she
next
was
time
a
I
designated driver, and she had a girlfriend who liked the keyboard player in the band, and I just met her, and she wanted nothing to do with me, and we had the same silly sense of humor, and ended up being friends because she would. Ride Debbie around and all that stuff. And I chased her,
Just wore her down finally. She just gave in.
Yeah. And then we figured out that we were pretty good friends. And then that turned into a relationship, and I married her as soon as she would say yes.
So jumping out of schedule here, how long have you guys been married now?
It's going to be 35 years.
Oh, wow.
In November. Yeah.
She's 29 for us. So,
yeah.
So she was from this area?
She grew up in Alabama. She was born in Norfolk, Virginia, but she grew up in Alabama, went to school in Alabama. And
they stop in 8th grade in Alabama. They don't go to 12. They just stop there.
When I met her, she had 2 degrees and a small business that was doing really well. So it was like, oh man, this chick's got it together.
Yeah.
She's beautiful, she's smart, and I better step up. I better, because she set the bar high.
What was she doing for business then?
She had a children's dance school.
Okay,
because she had a ballet school.
So that's what I knew that she had when we started to know you guys. I didn't know how long that she ran that for a long time.
She grew that from 3 or 4 students to well over 300. She had that studio for 30 years.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. And now we're working together. She says she's retired, but
so I learned that I went over. We did a video. Again, jumping out of order. She is very well organized. She keeps you on your toes. Mm-hmm. She helps run the cameras, takes notes on what you need to do. Yep. So she is very involved. I'm not sure she wanted to be that, but she's very involved. And that poor woman had to put up with me and you for a couple of days filming. She's like, I can't use that. I can't use that. Yeah. Okay, so you moved to Tennessee.
Moved to Tennessee, and I wanted to keep music in my life somehow. So I thought, well, I'll just be a country guy. We're right next door to Nashville. Mm-hmm. I'll just go up and I write songs. And my favorite saying is that, country music is 3 chords and the truth, right? So I know
punk rock's 3 chords and some screaming.
Right. So I know 3 chords, and I've got a reasonably good relationship with the truth. So I'm going to be a country singer. It's like, no. And you and I are both friends with James Otto, and he is one of the best songwriters in Nashville. He's had number 1s and all that stuff.
And like our friend Shannon, Shannon Brown, then Shannon Silva is one of the most incredible singers. And listen to her stories about the industry. She still sings the national anthem better than anybody. She sang at the Rose Bowl. She was on the radio. She's had a great career. She's incredible. I think. You've heard Shannon sing, right?
Yeah.
She don't listen to this. I think she should try rock and roll.
Oh man.
I was surprised. She jokes with us about not knowing anything. Like we went and seen Offspring. She still swears she doesn't know who Offspring is. But I sent her a song. Like her boy is going for music, the oldest one, and he's incredible. I was like, can you guys do a duet like this? There's a TikTok guy. He sings in this band Saliva.
Yeah.
And his younger daughter. Have you seen them? I'll have to send you that. She was like 8. Now she's like 13. They do these duets and cover people's songs and sing. They are incredible.
Right.
Well, they did like a current metal band with a lady singer.
Hailstorm.
What's her?
Hailstorm, Lizzie Hale?
Yeah. And then there's another one that's kind of like them too. And Shannon's like, oh, I know who those are. Like, I would love to see Shannon sing a song like that.
I bet she could kill it.
She would. I think she would kill it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So what were we talking about?
Thinking you're going to be a country person.
Yeah. And so I go to, there's writers' nights, there's in the rounds and all that type of stuff. And I learned really quickly that I am not a songwriter. I know what a metaphor is, but I am not a songwriter. That is a craft, and it's an acquired skill. And to get really good at that, you're 10 years in.
Yeah.
And I didn't have.
And James Otto is a really good songwriter.
Yes. Yeah. And I didn't have 10 years, so it's like that was it. Did
you ever try being like a set musician? Like I know loosely the guys from the band Lit. Remember Lit?
Yeah.
They're still around and still touring.
Yeah.
And I got to know them flying back and forth to Nashville when I wasn't fully moved here.
Yeah.
And they were friends with Courtney Hanson and just talking to them and got to know them a little bit. Well, then they were flying back and forth from LA, and they realized that's when country was big. I still don't think country was or is ever big.
Well, country was allowing other influences in.
And they were flying in to being guitar set musicians.
Yeah.
And paying the bills when they weren't touring. Kind of like you going back to the body shop. They were coming and playing. Now they moved here. And then they're still on the road touring. And my wiring guy, he goes down, he plays saxophone at the famed recording studio.
Oh, wow.
He's been on a dozen records that they're like, here's your music. And then he'll get a record in the mail. It's like, oh, I was on this person's record.
Yeah.
But he didn't even know because they never met him. It's like, oh, you just go.
He just did the session.
Yeah.
No, I know a guy that did that. His name is David Steele, and he was with a bunch of big artists.
David Steele.
Yeah.
American Hot Rod Foundation.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That was not planned at all. Yeah.
But
he's the guy who runs that.
He's a session guy. He's a Berklee School of Music graduate. He's an amazing musician.
He toured with
Gary Allen,
David
with John Prine.
John Prine, sorry.
Yeah, he did records with John Prine too. And Copperhead Road, who's you guys that are listening, Steve Earle. Yeah. Okay. All right. So David played with top shelf people, and it's a grind. It's a grind being a side musician. And Yeah, but I wanted to be a singer. That's what I did. It's what I honed my skills on, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't depend on it. I didn't have the physicality to do it anymore. And I finally,
because you kind of wore your. I mean, it's a muscle. Did you wear that muscle out with all those night after night after night?
I'll tell you what happened. So
allegedly,
you know what
partying, you know, not taking care of yourself.
You know what a hernia is, right?
I think I have one right now. I really, I think I have a hernia.
Carrie went away. Where'd you go, Carrie? Anyway, okay.
What did she say?
She's getting some Pringles, I think.
She better not be eating Pringles. That's not on her diet.
Okay. But I gave myself a hiatal hernia. So that's the valve that keeps your stomach acids in your stomach. And it's right where your diaphragm is. And I was pushing so hard with my diaphragm, trying to build my voice back up again, that I broke something.
Oh, geez.
I broke that valve. And so what that does is it gives you reflux that comes up and settles on your vocal cords. I didn't know it because I couldn't afford the doctors that would tell me that at the time. I thought it was sinus trouble. So I went to countless ENTs and all that stuff. And I thought it was sinuses and all that kind of, because it was really inconsistent. But that's what broke my voice, is I had broke my hiatus. I had that valve literally split. And I've got to have an adjusted diet because of it, because that stomach acid will leach your esophagus, right? So I've got to be very careful, which I'm not, of what I eat and all that type of stuff. But anyway, so that's what it was. And I could not smart it. I couldn't technique it. I couldn't work around it. There was no mouthwash or honey and vinegar rinse that I could rinse and clean my vocal cords off. I could do it for one or two lines in a song, and then it would just like it would just collect. And it was I couldn't depend on it.
I mean, we've heard you sing, because there for a while when I was at the studio and shortly after, you were singing in a cover band in Nashville.
It was
and you you were playing guitar and you jump over and sing stuff.
Yeah.
So why we're talking about that, his band played a lot at the Lipstick Lounge, which is the gay and lesbian bar.
Yeah.
And we would go listen.
The world famous Lipstick Lounge. Yeah.
And you got to play at the Hard Rock for the kickoff of Pride Week.
Yes.
But you got to play at the Hard Rock.
At the Hard Rock.
And me and Carrie go. And that's when my show was on. You remember this? And during between, he gets on he goes, I want to thank Tim and Carrie Strange, and he mentioned my TV show, for coming out tonight. And he meant coming out to see the show. He stepped back, everybody looked, then he jumped. That's not how it came, because we were at the Pride concert. We were at the gay and lesbian kickoff for Pride Week in Nashville, and Kevin told me and Carrie that we just came out.
Yeah.
So Carrie was afraid to go to the bathroom because she thought she was going to get attacked by a bunch of lesbians.
No, that's not how that works.
That's really what happened. She thought, I was like, well, I can't go to the bathroom. She's like, Judy would go to the bathroom with me. It's like she didn't want to go because she's like, come on, Carrie, you're not that like you're just going to get attacked by a herd of lesbians.
No, that is not true. You're so full of shit. I mean,
but that did happen, that you said that we came out.
Yeah, he did say that.
Yeah, I remember.
And we all just went.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but that was a fun gig, because all the people in that band, nobody was trying to get signed. Everybody was just fun. And it was the first time in a long time. And my producer, Blaine, made me.
From Trucks TV.
From Trucks TV.
Yeah.
His wife was the lead singer. Yeah. And he said, hey, we're going to get you to play guitar. I said, yeah, I play guitar. He said, no, you can learn the set. And here's the song list. And I said, no. I said, my guitar's been in the closet for, no pun intended, for 14 years.
That was good.
Yeah. And he said, oh, you'll get better. I said, no, you don't understand. I'm not a lead guitar player. He said, you'll get better. Here's the song. You wouldn't take no for an answer.
And you did.
You
got really good.
I got to be really good as the lead player.
Yeah, I just thought you played guitar forever like that. So
it's called woodshedding in the music industry, where you just sit and you shut the door and you just ruminate over the songs, and you just do it until you know it, until you know it, until you know it. And I did that for like 30 songs, and first couple of gigs I kind of sucked, but I got better, and I had fun. I had fun with music instead of being stressed about music, instead of being brokenhearted at music as my first love, my career that I loved. I loved it.
And you got to play at the Hard Rock in Nashville.
Well, yes.
So, I mean, that's a big deal, right?
For sure. Yeah. Well, actually, one of the music videos that we did for the Sin City band, we did it at the Troubadour in LA.
Oh, wow.
The Troubadour. It was where Elton John got
So is there Sin City videos online that I can find? Because I've looked at the famous
Yeah, there's that one in Long Beach that we did.
Okay,
there's some with other singers, but not with me.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, because for 35 years, I haven't been singing for 34 of those years. So in that band. So
how did you're in Nashville, we kind of jumped out. How did you get your start on automotive television? It was the DIY channel first, right?
It was DIY. And
were they from Nashville?
No, they're in Knoxville.
Oh, okay.
Knoxville is a really big TV production market. People don't realize that.
Yeah, Diamond P is
Diamond P, Scripps Networks. Scripps owns HGTV, Food Network, all that. So Scripps is headquartered in Knoxville. And I had, the Eastwood Company. So Eastwood sold my videos. And
okay, let's go back to the videos. When did you start doing the paintucation videos?
I started doing paintucation videos when I was still in Collision. It was 1999, and I had the idea. And I got to give props to Jeff Perry. Jeff Perry was my shop manager.
And then you had this. You know how to look. Okay, we're going to record records. We're going to sell records at our show. So you had that mindset.
Yeah.
You just switched it to cars, and you had the DIY built in from doing all them bands.
A sub industry. Also, as you go to the big guitar stores, Guitar Center, all these big music stores, and there's this rack of how-to cassettes and CDs with all these guitar players showing you how to play their technique, and they're making money selling these CDs on their how-to. And Judy's business, the dance school, used to buy choreography. There was this huge market. This catalog used to come twice a year. Different choreography and lessons and how different techniques that she would pass on and, continued education. So I thought, let's do one on how to paint a car. Well, John Kosmowski had the House of Color video.
Yeah.
Craig Frazier and all those guys had those amazing airbrush videos. So all that crap. Nobody had a fundamentals.
There was a couple like Sid Shavers that we just inducted in the Hall of Fame. He was doing how to upholstery, like VCR days. He was still doing that.
And that's why I started on VHS also. And so I just got the wild hair. The guy that used to videotape Judy's dance recitals had a car that needed a paint job, and I needed a video done. So we bartered. I gave him a nice paint job on his car.
The cat's sneaking around the corner, Gary. Turbo's peeking. Or sorry, not Turbo. We all just lost him. Axel. I say that a lot. I confuse.
He didn't recognize my voice. So we bartered it, and then I had this video, and it was good. It was a good video. And I had no idea.
Were you still long hair in the first video?
I had long hair. I had it tied back in a California pony.
Yeah, I remember seeing it. Didn't it go out the back of the hat?
Yeah.
Like a cowgirl?
Yep.
Yeah. Just Canadian thing, I guess.
And then I figured out where to sell it. I was trying to sell it on tool trucks and trying to sell it in auto parts stores that sold paint. And I figured out that you can't sell a fundamental how-to video to a professional market. They're past it. They don't want it. And even if they do need it, they're not going to admit that they need it.
Okay.
So I found the hobby industry through the Eastwood Company. And through the Eastwood Company, I got introduced to Stacy David, former host of Trucks. He had Trucks. He started that show, Trucks. So Stacy and I became friends. I did a couple projects for Stacy, and Stacy helped promote my videos. And so
Stacy's a good dude.
Stacy's a good dude, and I don't owe my career to Stacy, but he showed me grace and gave me a leg up, and I'll always be grateful for that, because he showed me the power of television. He put my videos, and I do these projects for him and give him world-class paint jobs, right? And he would say, hey, if you want to learn how to paint like this, check out Kevin's video. It's available over the Eastwood Company. That on a Saturday morning, Eastwood would call me and say, oh my gosh, send us another 500 paint your own car videos. I don't know what you did, but keep on doing it. So it showed me that market was there and where the market was. And so I just kept feeding it and kept introducing titles.
This was before you were on DIY. How many videos did you put out before you were on DIY TV?
I had 5.
Okay.
I've got 14 now, but
I remember you said one time, this might have been, I don't know if it was the beginning, you did how to paint your Mustang.
Yeah.
And then you get a message. Do you have one on how to paint my Camaro or something along that way?
Yes. And so I have now paint your own car and paint your own truck.
But that's how do you say it? Uneducated or naive that some people are, that they think the paint technique is different on your, it is on a Corvette because it's fiberglass, and you did Corvette one, right?
Yeah.
But, and then there's some guys that are so, I hate Mustangs. I'm not watching how to learn how to paint by watching this Mustang. There, it's the truth. Yeah. I want a Chevy at least.
Yeah.
So,
and there's nuance.
You did that for
them. There's a little bit of difference. Paint your own truck. There's things on a truck. That, and so I thought that was a valid video, and it wasn't.
But the skill level to do a Mustang and a Camaro, I'm just going to say there's probably more rust to fix on the Mustang. But because they rusted bad.
Yeah.
So did first gen. You're rebodying a whole second gen Camaro right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
But some people, they're like, my dad would be like that. Oh, if I'm going to learn, I want
to
learn a Tri-5 Chevy,
on a 55 Chevy. Yeah. But that market was there, and it's still there. We just have to access it a different way. But anyway, long story short, got the Eastwood company. I reached out to my buyer at Eastwood, and he introduced me to Stacy, and we became friends. And I talked to some other producers as well. And I said, hey, I want to do TV, and have you got any advice for me? And one guy kind of befriended me. He used to do Dennis Gage's show. He was a producer for My Classic Car. Was that the show?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, gave me some great advice, and he told me what to study and what to look for and all that kind of stuff. And so I wanted to get better at it, and then the Eastwood company was sponsored one of the DIY shows. And a producer reached out to them and said, hey, we need somebody that can do paint repair. Do you know anybody? And I said, well, Kevin has videos. So bam, I was a walk-on guest for classic car restoration on DIY Network.
So you had to drive to Knoxville?
I drive to Knoxville. I had a Ford Focus at the time. I could fit an entire body shop in the back of a Ford Focus. So I went up there with all my, did pre-prepared demos.
So if there's more than one Ford Focus, is it Focuses or Foci?
Foci.
Okay, that's what me and Jeff Thisted have discovered.
Yeah.
There's a Ford Focus club that comes to one of the California autocross events. So they call it Foci.
Foci, yeah. Yeah, and it's Vespa also for multiple Vespas in one.
I would love a Vespa.
Vespas are awesome.
Everybody made fun of Toad American Graffiti, but I would love one of his little bikes.
One of my first TV gig, classic rides, we restored a Vespa.
Is that your first full-time show that you wasn't just an appearance on?
Yeah.
And about what year was that?
That was 2004.
Okay.
So around 2002, we were starting to get really good traction with Paintucation. And I always tell the story.
You're still long hair at that time.
Still long hair at that time. I had the California Pony. And I had a spray gun in this hand and a cell phone in this hand. And I started talking into the spray gun. And I was so stressed out because we had more going on. I was making more money with Paintucation than I was in a busy collision shop.
Were you allowed to show your DVDs on that show?
On
the DIY show?
No.
Okay.
No, that was always a restriction. And I would have loved to have been able to, but I knew that was the rule.
Yeah.
But anyway, so ended up getting the gig with a walk-on guest. They said, hey, would you be interested in a screen test? And I said, sure. And I got the gig. I had to cut my hair, but I got the gig.
Where's this at?
This is in Knoxville.
Oh, okay.
On
so you had to cut your hair before DIY channel.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I had to.
I was thinking it was at RTM made you cut your hair.
I had to cut my hair to audition.
Oh,
so I called Judy. And I said, Judy, they want because the producer said, okay, your screen test is at
how far down your back was it?
It was about the middle of my back.
That's a big commitment right there.
Yeah. And
not that, hey, you're hired, cut the hair. Yeah. Just for the screen test, cut the hair.
I said, I don't want to cut my hair. She said, well, your screen test is at 3, your haircut's at 1. We'll pay for your haircut. I said, what if I don't want to get a haircut? And she said, well, you can go home then. So I called Judy and I said, they want me to cut my hair for the audition. She said, I'm not going to tell you what to do. And I said, sure, what should I do? And she said, your call.
And that's in your mind, you knew you met this beautiful lady when you were in the rock and roll field. It was like, does she love me for my hair?
Yeah. But I said,
I'm starting to learn. I don't think my wife loves because I'm starting to lose my hair. So she does make me wear a hat a lot.
Yeah. So. Well, I naively thought, well, I'll cut my hair because it can grow back. No, it doesn't. It doesn't grow back. Not the same. But I cut my hair.
How long were you growing the long hair?
I had
15 years?
Long hair since I was 5 years old.
So this was...
It was a major life change.
Yeah, I get it.
It was a commitment. So that showed how bad I wanted it, and I did a good audition. And
So if it didn't work and you didn't get the job, were you going to have your wife help you find a place for hair extensions? I'm saying yes. What do you think, Carrie?
Yeah.
She's saying yes too.
No, you know what I would do is I would just get somebody else's ponytail and tie it onto the back of the hat.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like Carrie's when her wasn't whatever this Ian wannabe hair she's doing here. When it was just spiky, her hair looked just like those, at the street rod shows, you can buy the sun visors with the hair on the top that cover their bald heads with the spike. That's what she looks like, used to look like when she wore a sun visor.
So TV.
So you got the DIY show.
Got the DIY show, and then DIY after 3 seasons on.
Were you driving or living over there?
No, I would go up we would do a season, which was 10 shows in about a 3-month period. So I would go up for a week. We would tape 2 episodes, and then come back home and.
So you just living in a hotel?
Yeah.
So Mank did that for the first year. He stayed here. This was he stayed at Hotel Strange. He drove back to Tulsa.
Yeah.
11 hours every day. Mank's not normal because he's from Oklahoma. They just drive everywhere.
Well, he's also from Canada.
He was he's from Canada too.
That whole not normal thing.
Yeah. And but yeah, a lot of people do that for TV. And I flew back and forth I had an apartment for 6 months before we started renting this house that we bought.
You guys commuted a lot.
Yeah.
And you were in that apartment in Franklin for a while.
18 trips with our 28-foot trailer to move. They help moving expenses for the house, but not my shop because they didn't give a shit about the shop.
Yeah.
So, but okay, you're at the DIY for 3 years.
And then DIY said, we're making more money off of home improvement. Automotive doesn't make enough money. We're shelving all the automotive stuff. So I had a contract, but they allowed me out of my contract because RTM.
Did they offer, hey, you want to do home improvement, or were you just the automotive guy and you're out?
They offered me, I was an associate producer on another, I wanted to work in TV. I loved it. So I was
either in front or behind the camera.
Yeah. Okay. So I was an associate producer for another series. Remember, Steve Vignanti?
Yeah.
So he was on classic car restoration. My show was Classic Rides. So Steve, I was his AP.
Okay.
So I would get all the projects together. I would bird dog all the parts, and I would do all his setups
which I hear he's doing pretty good. And he's put up a couple little videos. He's talking a little slower than normal.
Yeah.
But he was a fast talker anyway, so it's great that
he's doing really good. And I pinged him a couple of times, and but we got to be really, really good friends. So the whole time, and he wouldn't mind me saying this now, the whole time that he was doing the classic car restoration video, he had to hide it from Hot Rod. He was a editor at Hot Rod magazine, and they had a moonlighting clause, and he was working in television. Hello, there's a secret job, and he wasn't allowed to because he had a non-compete, and it was competition, right? It was other media. His contract wouldn't allow it, but he wanted to do it, and he was a really good TV host as well. Because he's an encyclopedic mind. He's so smart.
Oh, yeah.
And knows all the stuff. And we did.
So that's when his show ended when they found out, because he stayed with Hot Rod longer than that.
Yeah. Well, and also DIY canceled all the automotive stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. So that ended that. And then Stacy was leaving trucks. They were going to Power Block, which is the 4 Cornerstone shows, instead of just Horsepower and Trucks.
Was it Horsepower then, or was it still Hot Rod TV?
It was still called Horsepower. So it was Horsepower. There was Trucks, and then there was Ian's show,
the St. Lawrence's. I'm going to say we're one of the founding people with DIY, but for getting out in good numbers, they really put it out there for people. This was before Rides. This was before Motor Trend and Roadkill, and they moved in. They're originally in New York, right? And then they moved to Nashville because it was TNN, Nashville Network, so they thought they needed to be there.
Yep.
And they
created a lane. They created a lane in automotive how-to television, and they made it better because they allowed experts to be experts.
I don't even know how long, over 30 years they've been doing automotive TV like that, right?
Yeah, and also different stuff. They had a gold prospecting show.
14 since I've done, or 12, 14 when we moved down here. It's been 12 years since I've done my show. Does that seem possible?
No, but it is. It has to be. That's crazy. Because I was building my Mustang Jaded, which debuted in 2012 at SEMA, while you were still doing your series. And I
turned 40 that year when my show came out. And I am not 40 anymore.
No, I'm not 40 either. Look at Carrie. She's shaking her
She's barely. She's holding on.
Mm-hmm. So that's kind of how that ended up doing. And
so did Stacy give you like a heads up, hey, I'm leaving? Or did you just hear around the town?
No, I auditioned for the muscle car show.
Okay.
And I got the gig. And they were already in production. They had Lou Santiago, and they needed a co-host really bad. And I had to finish out my jobs at DIY. I was AP on Steve Mignonte's show, and I had a contract. I couldn't just say I quit. So I had to finish that contract out. There was enough overlap to where they had to replace
me. You could have quit, but that would have made your
sued.
And your name mud in the industry
Absolutely.
that you wanted to stay in.
And we don't do that. We don't mess people over. And that's one of the things I like about you guys, you and Carrie. You don't mess people over.
So you're going to do it. Even if you hate it halfway through, you finish what you say you're going to do.
You finish what you say you're going to do. And if I've signed my name on a contract, I'm going to honor that contract. And one of the producers at RTM said, oh, you're just an AP over there. Why don't you probably know who this is. And you just, so, what are you going to get out of that? Blah, blah, blah. I said, well, no, it's a contract. And I said I would.
Yeah. Because if I end up coming here, I'm not going to do that to you guys.
No.
I'm going to finish out a contract with you guys. Yeah.
Right. And I've got to feel good at the end of the day, I've got to feel good about what I tried to do and what I said I was going to do. So anyway, there was overlap. So they replaced me. Jared Zimmerman took my spot hosting with Lou. And then
I like both of those guys. Are great guys.
Yeah, I'm still friends with both of them too.
To fast forward, Jared went to Florida to Brenton, and then he tried to do a show that he was filming at Rad Rides.
Yeah.
I like Jared's delivery and his rhythm and his humor. He's just one of those guys. I really enjoy Jared when he does TV. I don't know where he's at right now. I don't know if he's still behind the scenes at Brenton.
And he's a legit car guy.
Oh, he's totally legit. Worked at Rad Rides. Oh,
yeah.
Badass legitimate car guy.
Yes, for sure. And Lou as well. Lou's skilled. And I just did Good Guys Columbus with Lou.
That's what I was like. I just seen Lou someplace. Yeah, I seen him. You can hear Lou from the other side of the fairgrounds if he's whispering. He's just got that booming. He's got a great TV and great radio voice.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And he's a really good reader of people. You see him with kids. There was a handicapped guy came in a chair, and his dad was pushing him, and Lou just went up to him and had the perfect things to say to everybody that he encountered, and people love him.
Yeah.
So it was cool to work with him again and all that stuff. But so I ended up getting offered the position because Stacy had left the truck show, and they said, "Would you be interested in that?" And I said,
"At that time, were they all in one studio?" Because I know at one time when Stacy was doing his show, the studios were scattered around town. Were they all in the big building?
They were where you were, the Power Block and Franklin. That was just being finished.
Okay.
They was still in drywall, the other studios. So my first.
So you started at that building?
3 episodes of Trucks. I started at the old building, the old studio in Madison, Tennessee, north of Nashville.
Not only learning new people and producers, then just a couple episodes, then we move all the stuff.
Yeah. But everything was behind.
And what a facility RTM is.
Oh my gosh.
We're going to tell people where it is. It's supposed to be hidden. It's like Fort Knox trying to get in there.
Oh, for sure.
But what a place it is. It really is.
70,000 square feet of vertically integrated television studios, 5 dedicated studios, staging areas, all the edit suites, corporate offices, all under one roof. A TV factory. It was amazing.
And hidden from view.
Yep.
People drive by and don't even know what's going on in there.
No, for a good reason.
Yeah.
Because you can't stop. They did tours for about 10 minutes, and then it just got to be too much.
Yeah, because everybody wanted to see it.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Can you imagine Power Tour coming through, being able to stop at RTM? How cool would that be? But there's 4,000 people on Power Tour, 4,000 cars, 10,000 people.
A little more than that now. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. But anyway.
So what year was that when you started at RTM?
2005.
Okay. We might have said that already, but yeah.
Yeah. No, we didn't. But
20
years ago. And that was also
20 years ago, dude.
Yeah. That was the year I became an American citizen.
Cool.
Yeah.
So how was that? That was a question I had for you. We give you a hard time about being Canadian. You lost your free healthcare. Or are you dual citizen?
I am not a dual citizen.
Ian is still a dual citizen, I believe. Because he said, if I ever get sick, I'm going back to Canada.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, the Canadian
So how was this?
This
is the first time we've had a person like this. How is it, born an American, how is it to take the test to be a U.S. citizen?
It's scary.
And welcome to our country, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm a proud American. There's only one thing that's more passionate about what they are than a new American, and that's a reformed alcoholic. Mm-hmm. And it matters. It matters because I left a country that was very similar to this country. Culture, accessibility, everything like that. What I'm doing now is not possible in Canada. My career that I've carved out does not exist. The population can't support it.
Okay.
I might have sold enough videos to make some side money.
If you're just in Canada only.
I sold enough videos to create a career. And I'm not bragging about how much videos we've sold or money or anything like that. But it showed me that this is a career. It's not just a side hustle. And that's the power of the United States. And that's the opportunity that this country still has. And it's
the American dream is still a thing.
The American dream is still a thing. And people can beat it up. It's still there. You know, there's a lot of stuff happening right now with politics.
No country's perfect.
No country's perfect. But the opportunity.
But if you've traveled a lot, and so have we. It's still a pretty good damn country.
It is.
I've not lived someplace else, but we've traveled to a lot of places.
There's no other place like it in the world. And for all of its flaws and tears and shreds and all that type of stuff, it's still where you can, if you work hard enough and if you're focused enough and if you play your cards right and live for what your dream is, you can achieve whatever it is that you want to do.
So what do you have to do to become, you have to take a test, right?
When I got my legal resident status, I applied for a green card. Now we came down into the States with music. That's where I started. And we had,
allegedly, when you came in for music, were you legal?
Yes. 100%.
Oh, I thought one time you told me that I might have snuck through it, but something. I mean, because you fit
with you.
Well, we came down.
What?
He's messing with you. You believe anything anybody tells you.
I believe I should not believe half the things that Kevin tells me.
No, we were legal when we came down. We had work permits and all that kind of stuff, and they did expire. And when I applied for my green card, it was based off of the rights that Judy had, not my rights.
Because you were married?
Because we were married.
Well, it doesn't, if you marry a U.S. citizen, it doesn't make you...
There's nothing automatic. No, you have to qualify.
Okay.
I had to apply for a green card. I had to pass the background checks, criminal checks, all that kind of stuff.
Did they come interview her like I seen a movie? Like, did you just marry him? Because if you meet Judy, there has to be a reason why she married.
So we had to go. Memphis was the INS, it was Immigration Naturalization Services. It wasn't what it is now. And so we had to go to Memphis and say, we're married, blah, blah, blah. Here's my passport and all that kind of stuff. And so they issued a temporary I-9. And then I got to apply for a green card, which I got because I didn't have a criminal history or anything like that.
And you kind of been here for a while, right?
I had to own that. I had to say, have you ever been in here working illegally? And I said, yes, I have. I worked for cash, but I'm not doing that anymore.
Okay.
And so I had to own that. And that could have got me punted. But Judy's rights as an American citizen were strong enough to, once I passed the application, to make that happen as well. So once that happened, then I got, from a green card, I got permanent resident status, where I wouldn't ever get kicked out or whatever, permanent resident status. But as I got older, I wanted to be able to vote. Because that stuff starts to matter a little bit when you get older. It did to me anyways. And I wanted to participate. I wanted to give back. I wanted to, be a functioning citizen in this country that has given me so much. So I applied for citizenship. And that was a trip because it's a lot of work. You have to pass the exam. And it's a civics exam.
You have to learn American history and stuff like that?
American history. And we studied American history a lot in Canada.
So as you have done that, how many Americans do you think would fail that test if they had to take it tomorrow and they didn't have time to prep?
Probably lots.
I would think probably.
One of the questions that
I'm thinking me and her wouldn't pass it.
One of the questions that I failed on was who wrote the Star Spangled Banner?
Do you know that, Carrie?
Shannon Brown.
Wasn't Shannon Brown.
No. Wasn't James.
That would be my answer. Oh, wait. You meant who wrote it? I thought you meant his son.
Ross did the flag.
The flag. It was Francis Scott Key.
Okay.
And I'll never not know that answer again, because and they weren't hard on me or anything like that, but they told me and they corrected me on the one.
Would you write Ozzy? Ozzy wasn't even. He was English.
I think it was blank.
Ozzy was English.
But I had to know the 3 branches of government, all that kind of stuff. It was a civics test, and I studied hard for it. And when I have to tell this story. So I just started with RTM Productions. Joe St. Lawrence was going down the hallway.
Did they encourage you at RTM to do that? They didn't care.
They didn't care.
Okay. You had the green card, so you were okay.
I was fine. I could, I was paid. I had a social security number and all that kind of stuff by then. But I had my swearing-in ceremony downtown Nashville, the courthouse, and they had a local news crew in there with a civics class in grade school. And so the news crew, when I'm standing up there with 25 other people, whatever, and I'm pledging allegiance.
So you had to tell Joe St. Lawrence that you were going to be on TV because you couldn't be on other TV.
I went into work. I said, Joe, did you see me on TV? It was on the news. And he went, oh, shit, what did you do?
I could hear Joe saying that, too.
I said, no, I got sworn in. I'm a citizen. He went, oh, thank God. They just hired me and announced that I was a co-host on the show and all that kind of stuff. But so, yeah, I got to put a coin in the swear jar. Sorry, I said shit.
Oh, that's mild. That's mild.
Okay. But anyway, but yeah, so again, proud American citizen, and for all its flaws, it's still America, and it's still.
That's cool. Well, congratulations. That was a question that I had because you're our first guest of almost 80 now that have done that.
Yeah, and like I said, it was important, and it's one of those things where I think of myself as an immigrant very much, but I am. Mm-hmm. And it's just one of those things.
You did all the legal things to do it.
I did all the legal
part of society and all that. So okay, you're at RTM now.
Yes.
And you're doing Trucks TV. Who was your co-host at that time?
The first co-host on Trucks was a guy named Paul Vincent.
See, that's a guy I barely remember. He was a big muscle guy.
He was a muscle guy. He was a retired WCW wrestler. He had the voice.
And he had a beat up body too. And he hurt himself a lot.
Yes, for sure. But man, he was fit. He was in shape, and he worked out and all that kind of stuff. And he was the thing, man. And
So watching those, was it like that Twins movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito?
He was short like me.
Was he short?
For sure, but he was all buff and stuff. But he had some pretty serious health issues, and he ended up I'm not going to say he couldn't do the job, but he had some pretty serious health issues that interfered with that schedule. And that schedule. We had 24 shows to make, where most TV series is 10. So it was just one of those things to where the guy that came in second was Ryan. So he was like, he was the alternate.
You didn't have any behind the scenes guy, right? Like there for a while, Ian. Well, I think that was, I don't know when, because I never worked there when Jake Holmes was there. Mm-hmm. But they hired Camo Chris. He was a behind the scenes guy for a while, and that's how Tommy got in. Was a behind the scenes guy.
And Tommy worked with us on Trucks when Paul was still there. Okay, because Paul was, like I said, he had some health issues and stuff like that. So Tommy helped us propel the projects along. But for the most part, it was.
Still can't get Tommy to do my podcast.
Really?
Been trying and trying. I'm going to lean on him at Mo Party. Next week, because he's driving in the van race with Carrie. I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah, I did.
He's driving.
My YouTube episode this weekend, I go to Tommy's shop and we talk to him.
So maybe I'll get him on.
Yeah.
I want Tommy on so bad.
And he told me his design for his minivan. It's going to be sick. It's going to be sick. I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag.
Don't let it out.
No, it's going to be so fun.
Carrie called him, and he was so excited that she thought of him. And Tommy is having a blast with this. You can hear a twinkle in his voice when he talks about it on his social media videos.
It's going to be.
Tommy's a good dude. I like Tommy. Yeah, cool. And so then Ryan slides in. After how long did Vincent leave, and then Ryan slid in there?
It was about 6 months. It was about 2/3 of the way through the season, and Ryan came in. Ryan was amazing. He was an amazing mechanic, work ethic like nobody. I've ever met.
Smart guy too.
Smart
Very
guy
mechanical.
too. Brilliant diagnostic mechanic. And you know, with electronics, I mean, you've got to have that mind.
And that's what he does for a living now, right?
Yes,
Does he work on BMWs and like fuel injection?
And a partner have a high-end BMW repair shop, so exclusive European cars.
I could totally see that.
Yeah.
After working with, because he had a little didn't he have an autocross BMW that he drove?
Yeah, a little race car. Yeah. He was a SCCA driver too. He had his the track license, so he was the real deal, man.
Yeah,
yeah, and a good guy,
quiet guy,
good friend,
quiet,
but hilarious.
Yeah,
yeah.
Well, so, everybody's quiet compared to Ian.
Yeah,
right. Tommy's kind of quiet too, so you get to know Tommy.
Yeah, he'll light up a little bit.
Yeah. But when you first get to know people, Ian's very outgoing at first, and Ryan took a while to warm up to me. I don't know if he ever really did fully warm up to me, because I come in and bother you guys all the time. But
well, you're out there too. You know, I mean, you don't shy away from anybody.
Not normally.
No.
Unless I don't like it. There was a couple in that building that I didn't really get along with.
Yeah, but that's different. I mean,
but I don't talk to them now. The other people I talk to you.
Yeah.
I guess I don't talk to Ryan because I guess he didn't warm up to me. I talk to Ian. I'll message Tommy. I guess my wife talks to Tommy more now with this Mopar thing coming up. But, you know, I see the guys off filming sometimes, and I'll visit with, you know, some of the camera guys and stuff are there. Tom Spy's coming next weekend to Moparty.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I like Tom. Yeah. So that's kind of thing. And I didn't realize I was going to get grilled so hard, but you guys are tough.
Yeah. I like the whole story of everybody.
Yeah.
So you worked there for how many years were you at RTM?
10.
Okay.
No. Yeah, 9. 2014 was when I ended up leaving.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Tommy supposedly was the longest RTM on-camera guy.
17 years in.
That's a lot for anything. I mean, anything.
I know. Yeah. But, you know, he loved the job, and I loved the job too, but I couldn't do that job and all the other stuff outside the rest of the industry. I couldn't do.
I mean, then I forget what year it was, then you guys were doing a Ford Dually. You invited me to come on, and we did an all-star body thrash.
Yeah.
So I feel bad for the edit people, right? Jeff and Jesse Greening.
Yeah.
Jeff is the worst one of all of them.
Yeah.
It was me, Randy Borcherding,
Brian Finch,
Eric
Saliba.
Yeah, that's right.
And there was somebody else, wasn't there?
Oh, I think so.
All still amazing people.
Yeah.
Still friends with all of them. Saliba's killing it.
Yeah. So you know how that happened, right? So we dreamed this thing up. We were going to call it the auto body thrash, and me and Ryan and Blaine sat down and said, how are we going to do this? How do we not just get a bunch of people in? So we had.
How can we get a lot of work done in a short amount of time for TV
but
deadlines?
Also, how do we respect these people? How do we give them a good plug? How do we this? And I'd become really good friends with Jesse and Jeff Greening. And I asked Jesse, I reached out to Jesse and I said, and I reached out to Charlie Hutton too. And Charlie couldn't do it. He wanted to. And JF.
Charlie won't do my podcast either.
Oh, no.
He blows me off.
No. And JF couldn't because he's from the other corner of the continent. But I asked Jesse and I said, man, would you come up and do this thing? It'll be like 5 days and a lot of hard work. He said, but we'll Greening Auto, we'll do this, we'll do that. And he said, yeah. He said, let's do it. And Dad can come too. And he'd be great. And hey,
they were living in Nashville then.
They were.
Yeah.
And he said, we should get my friend Tim to come. I said, Tim who? He said, Tim Strange. I said, you know Tim Strange? You think he'd do it?
So don't say that in public, but yeah.
And he said, yeah, I think so. And that's when we started making advice like, dang, Tim Strange. And so I have these great memories of, and I can't remember what magazine it was, but it was an article with you both, Tim and Carrie, in it. And it was an interview with you guys talking about a Strange Motion.
Probably would have been Custom Rodder.
I think it was Custom Rodder. Yeah. And I'd seen a couple of your features in magazines, and it was just, you were one of those guys that was doing really interesting stuff and really cool stuff. And you guys were working together, and Carrie was doing all the interior stuff at the time, right?
Yeah.
And it was great. They were great builds. And so it was like that. And the first time you and I met, I went up to you, you had the Merc Buick, sorry, at SEMA. And yeah, I thought I was bugging you because you were kind of looking.
And then Carrie's hungry. She's ready to go. Then we walked away. I was like, that was Kevin Tetz. I don't even know who that is. It's like, yeah, you do. He's on the TV. Oh, that guy. Okay.
I was hangry. We were going
hangry. Yeah.
I hear you. I don't hold it against you. But no, you were nice and you talked to me about stuff and you talked to me about the car and all that kind of thing. You know, and I never come up to people go, oh, you know, it's like I appreciate amazing work. And that car is still incredible.
Thanks. That's that car right there.
Yeah,
that's still my favorite car I've ever built.
And the dash, the centerpiece of that, it was just, and it's art. And that's the difference between what you and I do. I fix cars up and I make some resto mods and muscle cars, but you're an artist. And
when we're allowed to, when
we have, there's
a lot of customer restrict, like there was restrictions at TV. There's restrictions with every customer you work for.
So circle back to Jesse Greening going, my buddy Tim Strange can maybe come too. And I went, yes, let's do it. And you know,
and you were already buddies with Randy from the paint house. Right?
Yeah, for sure.
So I had never met Randy till I walked in that day. I mean, maybe in a passing at a show, but I was always a fan of him too. Yeah. And that's when I met Eric Saliba, and I knew I was a fan of him. He was, I say this very respectably, almost the king of the mini trucks at that time.
Absolutely.
Now he's a manufacturing guru.
Yeah.
And I'm still friends with Randy because of that. We share a house at the Roadster Show. Every year I get cooked breakfast by shirtless Randy. Every time. This last time made me go on a diet, didn't it, Carrie?
Oh my goodness.
You're seeing shirtless Randy.
Yeah. So how cool is this industry that we live in that, you know, I mean, the big hook was the TV show. Do you want to be on the TV show? Great. But we did it like NFL style. We had you guys, you know, sitting there like that, going around in a circle, all your stats and all that kind of stuff.
Mank and them guys still blame me for doing the arm cross thing. I was like, no, all the TV did that. And
everybody did that.
We did that.
Yeah.
And Mank and Eddie Potestio just say, the Tim Strange pose when you cross your arms and look mean. I was like, no, that was just all TV.
And the guys at Inesta Wada, Mark Hebler was the marketing guy at the time. And
still friends with Mark.
Yeah, me too. And they ended up donating paint guns for everybody, like super nice spray guns for everybody. And
I bought a Supernova.
It was
my first Supernova.
Pretty cool to be able to thank you guys like that. And we got a lot of body work on that.
But you guys called, says, can you come?
Yeah.
No money, no hotels.
Nope.
You just got to take a week off.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I asked my wife, I can't afford to do this. She goes, you need to go do that. It's just an experience that you may never get asked again. And I didn't realize how hard it was. I didn't really have to think about it. Once she says go and she got me a room, I'm going. Because I have supervision. I need supervision.
Yeah, we know this.
Yeah, you had to ask Judy to come.
Yeah.
But when I was getting people for my show, I believe how hard it was to get people to come to be on TV and promote themselves. But my thing, not only I had a blast that week working. I mean, we worked our butts off.
Yeah.
We worked our butts off.
We had a lot of fun.
And it was amazing. And that turned in to me having my show. 6 months later, they called me and flew me down. When they flew me down for a screen test, Jesse picked me up and took me for dinner.
Yeah.
Because he was still in Nashville then.
Yeah.
But when I did my show, the same thing. We needed volunteers every week, 4 weeks to do a build.
Yeah.
And some of the people, yep, I'll come. And some people like, nope. And some people regret it to this day.
Yeah.
And sometimes when I speak at SEMA, sometimes I get choked up talking about this. That car that I met you by was for a pain in the ass guy. Like he was hiding that car from his wife.
Oh.
I sent his bills to work. She found out about it and he had $80,000 in parts. I mean, this was going to be it was twice as good for the new people that ended up with it. She says you can buy a brand new Cavalier at that time for 20 some grand.
Yeah.
She filed charges against the postal service like they get mafia people. I mean, we just copied our bills and said that, and we never heard another thing. But then the car got stalled. We found them that we knew from touring cars. They bought that car.
Yeah.
Let me tour it around the world. That car, I got to meet you. If I would have finished it for that first guy, none of this would happen.
Yeah.
And then I toured it
for a reason.
Yeah. I mean, this story is written in a book.
Yeah.
Seriously, a book of every chapter is a car story. When Paul Hansen passed, the guy contacted me and said, hey, can you write a whole chapter, embellish it more? I mean, put more info. I was like, yeah, and it's printed in the book.
How cool.
Well, that turned into my show from meeting you.
Mm-hmm.
my show was a give back show. We built these cars for people.
Yeah.
The one family got, the kids got sent to Disney through Loctite.
Yeah.
They started a college fund for these kids. And I mean, I've been all over the world basically with car stuff because of that and meeting you and that car. But if you didn't go through that bad times and find the right customer,
yeah,
it's like the one in this world, the one right call can get you that TV show or that right customer that opens up the doors and gets you to that next level of customers. And it's like music, the right play. Oh, I met this record executive or whatever, or the tour guy or whatever.
Or falling on my face, my career yanked out from under me, losing my singing voice when I'm a singer. And I was a good singer. I'm proud to say that I was a very good rock singer and I was an entertainer. That was my life. It's what I wanted to do. And it devastated me when that was completely stolen from me.
I've seen a video clip of like Nicky Lauda, the Formula One guy that burned himself. That's in the movie Rush. Basically, the condensed version, and he says, "I always learned more from losing than I did from winning."
Yes, what a gift that was for me. That was my point. What a gift it was to have my life grenaded, completely blown up, and I probably wouldn't have had this incredible relationship with my wife. And I would not have had the career that I have, which it's amazing. It's amazing.
You might have still been grinding it out with no Rex.
I might have still been.
Yeah.
At 61 years old.
Yeah.
You know, trying to beat something that its time has come and gone.
Yeah.
30 years ago. You know, and yeah, there's no such thing as failure. Yeah. Not to drop names, but we were at Triple Crown, this event coming up, and we had this builders panel and discussion group, and Chip Foose was part of it. And we were talking about failure. And he said, you know, there's no such thing as failure. All you're doing is figuring out what doesn't work.
Yeah. And I always say that. You're one of them. But like if you sit on the airplane and somebody's like, I'm not one of them. I put my headphones on, I put my Netflix on. I don't talk to people on airplane. But if they talk to you before you put your headphones and carry disappeared again, that they're like, oh, what do you do? It's like, oh, I build hot rods. And they say, oh, like Chip Foose? I am at no level of Chip Foose. But if they know our industry from Chip Foose, yes, I'm in that industry with Chip Foose.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say this. And if somebody would say, oh, you mean like the gas monkey guy? No. Even though a lot of my friends worked for him on there, but I'd rather be known for our industry from Chip Foose than that guy.
Yeah.
I mean, there's other good guys. Joe Martin's great, good guy, but if more people know Foose. Foose is the person that people know now. Like they knew the George Barris name from doing all that stuff back then and all that. But
he's carved himself a huge slice.
And deservingly so. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, great guy.
Yeah, and it's such a cool thing to be able to be in the same room as him, you know, and you and people like that, and have a conversation with people that have done so much.
And people that are cool, that have done a lot of stuff like that and are still cool.
Yeah.
Those are the people I like.
Yeah.
I have a rock star car in my shop right now. I have the guitarist for Papa Roach's car.
Yeah.
You go to his house, he is not a rock star.
Yeah.
There's people that I don't associate with in this industry that think they're rock stars. And this guy is a rock star. And he is like, I mean, yeah, he's got a nice place, but he is so incognito. Yeah. His wife, his kids, his dog. I mean, he's just, I was working in his garage. He's a rock star, but he doesn't have the rock star ego.
Yeah.
And there's a few people in the industry that think they're rock stars.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
But they're not. They're car builders.
No. And you could sniff them out pretty quick. And I just kind of step wide around those people. And
that's what Chris Ryan says that too. He says, there's assholes in this industry. One, we don't associate with them, but the assholes don't seem to last long.
No.
If they're that much of an assholes or real shifty people, they don't. I mean, we've both been in this industry over 30 years. I'm not saying we're great dudes, but we've been around this for a long damn time. So there's a lot of them guys out there that there's some good people. There's really cool people in this industry.
Yeah,
it really is.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't have that. Some people are, even if they're good dudes, they don't have that. Like I've got a couple friends, you'll never hear them say a compliment about another builder. They'll look at their cars, not talk crap about it, but never give a compliment. I'm one of the first, man, that's bitching, man. I like that. That's awesome, man. I guess I don't have that ego that I can say good job to somebody or be friends with somebody that's doing the exact same thing. We're in the same industry. We all stick together. It's a better industry.
Well, I always say that the music industry beat my ego out of me.
Yeah.
You know, and because there is always going to be somebody better, younger, prettier, more talented, and better connected.
No, you're pretty.
You. Well,
I don't have my glasses on though, but the same thing with show cars.
Yeah,
show car world.
Yeah,
the next year's car's better from somebody else, or it's faster.
Yeah,
or it's this, or it's that, and it's just what we do. It's just everything.
And how cool that it keeps evolving and changing.
Yeah. Some stuff I'm not totally happy with anymore, but it's still good. Like the LS Fest that she's getting ready to run is a majority. It's the same weekend as Triple Crown. They're 2 hours apart, and they're both stupid big events.
Yes,
stupid big.
Yeah, it's such a struggle because I love LS Fest, and I wanted to go to LS Fest.
But if you go to that, we're kind of the older guy. I mean, there's guys older than us.
Yeah,
but it's a younger crowd, and I think it's great because the technology, the racing. They're not sitting in their color match embroidered lawn chair with their satin jackets. Exactly. Even though I think I want to bring, me and Carrie's been trying to bring satin jackets back. So is Troy.
By the way, when you come up next week, I need you to bring my satin jacket.
Okay, you have to remind me.
Okay.
Are you like the pink ladies?
Well, I'm racing next weekend. You knew that, right? I had to be.
So yeah, if you have an underage child, like 18 or under, you have to sign a parent consent waiver. Shouldn't the husband have to sign a waiver to let their wife race? I mean, she just finally got back on the BMX bike.
If this was like 150 years ago and you owned your wife, maybe.
Well, she owns me.
Thank you. I love you, KT. You're the best.
You know Carrie enough that if I forbid her to do it, she's going to do it.
Oh, yeah. She's going
3 times first. So
for sure.
He's like, okay, so we're building a jump. So we're going to jump them too if they're not.
Right.
People think they are.
Okay, back on track.
Okay. So you're there. You're still doing your DVDs.
I still have DVDs.
Yeah,
because there's still people with DVD players.
At RTM, I was a hired host. I couldn't wear my Strange Motion stuff.
Yeah.
Luckily, I had a name that was tied to my shop, my last name. So I sold a lot of shirts. That's when I look back now, like one of the last few episodes, Tom Spy edited in and put a lot of cars in, like a little bit more of my history. That was him saying goodbye to me that I didn't know at that time. Now I go back and watch it.
Okay.
So me and Tom butted heads a lot. Tom will probably listen to this. I have the utmost respect. That guy he was the first producer at a lot of shows there for a reason, because he was hard-nosed.
He knew how to break a show.
Yeah, he did.
He knew how to launch it. He knew how to get the best out of talent.
Yeah.
And
as us being car people, working for TV people, they're not car people.
No.
They might be car fans. He has a convertible car, but like that's one thing, is that production company was small enough. He'd put a little edit together. He said, "Hey, Tim, come in here and watch this."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Does this little how-to section?" Because it was how-to based. Mine was more of like reality give back. It was a spin-off of Overhauling. But yours were all how-to, but we put a how-to. He says, "Does this make sense?" I go, "No, add this 10-second and then that explain. If you just cut that off, people kind of left hanging if they're really paying attention."
Yeah.
Be like, "Oh, okay." Then he'd re-edit. So being at a smallish, I mean, there was like 50 people there, gave you the chance to like. We ended up having a really good relationship. I mean, so good that he had a Superman light switch in his office. That the penis was the thing. He put my face on it because he just wanted to touch it every day. Is that true, Tom? Is that true, Tom? I'll see him at Mo Party before this goes live, so he'll call me. He'll call me if he says this. So, but yeah. But that's the thing. They thought it was funny. They were picking on me, but I thought it was great. So yeah, you gotta have a sense of humor.
Yeah.
So I have a question.
Okay, go ahead, Carrie.
Okay. So actually, this is a 2-part question. One for KT, one for Tim. What is the funniest moment or funniest situation that you guys ever had working together in TV?
I was just going to tell one about him, but I have a couple. I have a couple.
Okay. So
there's one we talked about with Chris Ryan about us being recorded about telling that the dog ate the crotch out of his wife's underwear. Not why she was wearing them. But one of my funniest one, quick, we'll have him on here. Ian says he'll do this. He does a great I live in a van down by the river.
Mm-hmm.
I got him to do that at the Roadster Shop party last year on a wing, and he did it in front of everybody. Yeah, it was great. He did it to Josh to embarrass him. But Kevin does a great Chris Kattan from Saturday Night Live. I used to say it was Mango, but it was Mr. Peepers.
Mr. Peepers.
Where he was like a wild animal, and they put his ears out. He was like a half monkey man, and he would eat these apples and then spit them everywhere. Mm-hmm. So in my studio that time was in the warehouse, and they put the big search and restore wrap on the wall.
Big giant antenna towers.
Yeah, these cell phone grids, and they'd mount lights, and just something they could mount stuff off for TV stuff. KT, they didn't really like too much shenanigans. I would get in trouble. If I would lose my temper, I would get in trouble.
Wait, you lost your temper?
Yeah, I threw a 2x4 at a camera guy one time, and it had a nail in it. And I got in trouble. Mm-hmm. Oh, Robert.
Allegedly.
You got
no, that's not allegedly. I threw a 2x4 at him, and I didn't know it had a nail in. I was trying to get the door aligned on the green 48 Ford truck because they made me do it. They made me weld the floor pan when I was waiting on the floor, and I told them, I said, it ain't going to work. So I couldn't get the doors in. I had to cut the floor part of the way out for it to release. And I'm working on adjusting the doors, and I'm beating on the hinges, and Rob's filming, and I warned him like 6 times. Mm-hmm. He filmed me for an hour while I'm trying to get these doors to fit.
That's frustrating.
So they only took the video clip of the 30 seconds that Tim loses his temper. And they called me to the office, and I wouldn't even sit down. She goes, sit down. I go, no, I know why I'm here. I'll come and talk to you in a couple of days after you get the other hour of that video. And she goes, okay. Mm-hmm. And she says, okay, you were both wrong. And I'm like, exactly. Yeah. But he stirred me up because they're not going to put an hour on this 45, 18-minute TV show of me. It's like, stop it, Rob. Yeah. So you worked with Rob, so.
Well, Rob, yeah.
You're welcome. You probably wanted to throw a 2x4 at Rob at least once.
At least once.
Good dude, though, but yeah.
We threw lots of things at Rob.
So anyway.
But it was forever known after that point as a Timmy tantrum.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I love the Timmy tantrums.
And so Kevin climbs up on one of those tower things, and he's sitting up there squatted like Mr. Peepers on Saturday Night Live, eating his apple and spitting it.
Flying
Joe St. Lawrence, the owner of this place, the guy that we were just talking about earlier that started this automotive TV, he walks out of the front, paused like and then just did this little circle, never said anything, and just went right back. He didn't go to another door. He just and I don't think he ever asked about that.
And I saw him look up there, and he just looking at me.
And you're spitting apples everywhere.
And it's like, okay, me stopping is not going to make a difference. I'm fired or I'm not. Yeah. So I just kept leaning into it, and I just kept going, and there's apple bits flying out. And out of the corner of my eye, I just saw him shake his head and turn around.
The look that I got from him was kind of like, we need better filtration back here. These guys are smelling paint fumes too much. That's the look that I got. Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah. There was one time in Search and Restore, there was a big box for like a bumper or something like that. And somebody pulled me around the corner, and it was just this
I
weird,
forgot about this.
And they said, hey, what do you think's in this box? And I said, I don't know. And I did this swan dive and just belly flopped on top of this box. Tim was in the box.
I was hiding in the box. I've been in there for like 20 minutes waiting for KT to come over by this box.
So I just splatted on this box, and I hear this whoo underneath the cardboard, knocked the wind out of Tim.
I don't know. Did that ever make TV? Did that make air? It might have been on the outtake.
I think it was on an outtake.
Yeah, I think it was. There's a lot of funny stuff in the outtakes.
Yeah. Yeah, one of the funniest things we used to do to people is, can you take pictures? No. It was a no pictures rule because there was prototype parts. Mm-hmm. There was shows that were being taped that hadn't had an airtime, and the network rules were very strict to that. Yeah. So we would always say, no, but give me your camera, and I'll take pictures of what you can have pictures of. And they go, okay, great. They give you your phone. The camera would get a picture of this project, that project, and a toilet. Yeah, and this project, and then like something down, somebody's toes or something nasty like that, and they would just be these random pictures of just horribly inappropriate things that we would give them back. Nobody ever said anything. It was weird.
You guys are idiots.
Yeah,
we were idiots.
Well, there was such a pressure cooker in there that you had to you had to do something to.
And I didn't fit in the corporate world like that. So
Yeah.
I would lean on you, and I would go talk to Jim Cozy. We had Jim Cozy on here, and I would go talk to you guys, and sometimes you just look at me like, then you're like, I think the place is bugged, so we can't talk about it.
Yeah, but sometimes you just,
But
had to suck it up and just.
When you look at it back now, it was fun.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, well, we worked, especially my show. I mean, we did 20-hour days.
Yeah,
and we worked our butts off, but they didn't really understand what we did back there. But they put out good TV.
Mm-hmm.
I would have, like, if that TV show was something drama. I mean, even though I threw something, but if that show was someplace else other than Nashville, if it was in LA, I probably wouldn't have took it.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. I was there 2 years. I'd go back now. I was supposed to go back with Tommy's new show, but I didn't have my Chevelle ready to drive.
Mm-hmm.
They were doing that Behind the Build show.
Right.
And I turned him. I had a time. Then Chris Ryan said, you got to drive it like all day long one day, and I got to put a transmission controller in it. I still haven't. And I would go back to do like an episode of a guest appearance thing. I totally would.
Yeah.
So cleared.
Mm-hmm.
It always cleared.
Yeah.
It was not a question.
Mm-hmm.
So I've had jobs that the checks didn't always clear.
Uh-huh.
So when you look back at it now that we're adults, it's like it wasn't a bad place, and it wasn't a drama show. It was putting out automotive, getting paid to do automotive TV. I mean, what a dream for 80% of the car people.
We got to work with, let's just say it was an unlimited parts budget.
Yeah, and then we had to, but we got to build. I mean, we built cars in a month.
Yeah,
that would have cost $300,000 in a shop.
Yeah,
and like
Allegedly.
I'm not going to mention, but there's some people that are still there.
Yeah,
I hope to get them on here if they can get approval. And they're like, I look at it as I get to work at Disneyland.
Mm-hmm.
I have all the equipment. I have all the. If I get it, they get it to tool.
Yeah,
and we get to build stuff and play with stuff that I wouldn't be able to do if I didn't have the right customer running the shop.
Yeah, we got to design cars, build them, and then send them off wherever they went. And, there was this huge rumor for a long time that all the cars that we built got crushed. None of them got crushed.
Some of them did get parted. Some of them got sold out. Yeah.
A lot of them got sold.
My buddy bought that patina 5-window truck.
Yeah, and it got sold. The guy that owns that truck came up to me at Columbus Good Guys.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is it still like that?
Yeah.
Wow.
He took he's got a 350 in it, fuel injected 350 instead of the inline 6, which makes me a little bit sad because that was such a cool engine.
Yeah.
But
I like inlines, but I understand for drivability and finding parts if you're really going to drive it. I get that
for sure. But it was cool to meet him and all that stuff. But we got to live that dream, and it was really great. And it was intense because it was such a pressure cooker for time.
Yeah.
But I got exposed to all of the marketing teams for all of the automotive aftermarket.
Right.
I got to
that was the place, people to come in and try to get their parts on there. We got once a month, got to see Courtney.
Yeah.
And
stand there in the same room as guys like Vic Edelbrock Jr. and living legends,
Yeah, that's what was cool, that we couldn't be fans. We could meet these people.
Yeah.
We couldn't take pictures or ask for autographs.
No.
That was a no-no.
Yeah. But I got,
got to meet Sam Hornish and
Daryl
Waltrip, and I got to film with Mario Andretti.
Yeah.
The one that I still stand up behind, the Hollywood person that I was still probably the most impressed with was Dak Shepard. He came in, he brought his Lincoln that was in that show with his wife. Mm-hmm. And we're giving him a hard time about it, and he starts rattling off. He goes, "No, it's my car." Yeah. And I remember it was like me and Tommy asked, "Really? What about?" And he knew the cam. Mm-hmm. He's a real hot rod guy.
Yeah. And I so regret. I remember passing him in the hallway.
Yeah.
And I was off somewhere else, and he looked at me and he smiled, he nodded, and I regret to this day not pinning him down because he was on a TV series that me and Judy watched. And it was like, oh man, that's Dak Shepard. How cool is that?
I mean, he was big then, but he really blew up after that.
Yeah.
But he's a real, you could tell, some of these people's like, oh, I'm just here because Scott Towels brought me in, or MagnaFlow, or whatever. But he was trying to stay cool, but you could tell he was a fan of what we did there. He had a good time that day.
Yeah.
And then I had Billy Gibbons on my show because Chris Robinson got him in there, and they didn't understand that. What do we need? I remember the higher up says, "What do we need this rock and roll guy on an automotive TV show?" They didn't understand who Billy Gibbons was, the car rock and roll guy.
Yes.
So, but yeah, it's pretty amazing. I really did think I was going to kill Billy Gibbons that day because he wanted to drive the truck, and Tom thought it was a good idea. We were 2 days from being done on our thrash. It went to the stop sign and back, and they're like, "Oh, we're going to put cameras in it, and you're going to drive this 7-mile loop."
Oh,
so this is give me half hour. Everybody, make sure the cotter pins are in.
Yeah.
I think we rebled the front brakes and let's do this and tighten the lug nuts. And my butt was puckered that whole trip, and it all worked, and it never overheated. We had troubles like the next day, me and Mac drove it. The distributor went out of it. Yeah. We could have been stranded with Billy Gibbons, and I really thought the car was going to fall apart because it wasn't quite done, and I was going to be responsible for killing Billy Gibbons.
And you build cars. I've built cars too, but there's real things that you forget. I was just working on Derek Vieri's truck that we're taking to Triple Crown, and it's going to sit in the Ride Tech booth because it's got their whole suspension underneath it. And I didn't tighten the cap screws on the lock rings for the coilovers after I adjusted it out enough.
Yeah.
And they worked themselves loose, and that lock ring bound. And so I spent this afternoon disassembling
one shock.
Yeah. Yes, disassembling and doing that. But had that gone any further, it would have ruined the coilover shock. It could have collapsed the suspension and got the tires into the body work, which I'd spent 300 hours on body and paint on that truck, and it would have missed the show. And it's just stuff that happens. Yeah. So you know, it's not that I suck as a technician. I just didn't do that. It just happens, right? So, but yeah, when you have a world famous rock star in the car, there's a little bit more of a point on that as well. But
so you end up leaving RTM, leaving the truck. You were on the truck show the whole time. You didn't jump around on shows.
No.
And you guys would shut down. My show was a quarterly special, so I was 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off, 2 weeks on again. So 4 weeks of total build.
Yeah.
And you guys would be a part. Ooh, the cat's coming over this way.
Hey,
Carrie, his eyes are bigger than I've ever seen before. And
Axel.
So you guys would shut down. So like, oh, we're doing a 4-wheel drive. That would be the show that Ian would help on.
Yeah.
And you helped on which ones did you help? Did you help on Chad Terhart's 55?
No, the Hudson and the Nova.
Okay, Nova was the first one.
Yeah.
That was the rough one. That was the very first pickup. We drove together. I was deer in the headlights.
Yeah.
And that's when like we had 5 new welders from Miller Welders, which is one of our sponsors here. We had 1 welder outlet.
Yeah.
Me and Tommy, I remember me and Rick Bacon, we was handing the welder back and forth. Yeah. We had no air. The air wouldn't keep up.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, you can't tell them. They were very scared. And I was like, they can't do my job. So they're like, Tom Spy, my producer, was even scared. He goes, you know where the office is? So I went up. Hey, Joe, we need air and we need some welder outlets.
Yeah.
I'll have them here tomorrow.
Yeah.
Well, it took us 4 days to get the compressor changed out. Pulled out. But they put welder outlets. He goes, I didn't know. You know, it's like everything else that you put the show together like you put the car together quick. And once we got that, it worked pretty good. It was pretty crazy other than us running noisy stuff when muscle car was right there, and they'd get mad at us because we were noisy and stuff like that because I couldn't close my door.
What I liked about working on Search and Restore is that these teams of builders that you brought in guys that could do that.
I brought some badasses. I brought my buddies in that I know would work, be badasses, and not be drama. I knew like chill dudes.
So I got to work and learn alongside
work
those
with Rob Ida.
Yes.
The Tuckers.
Absolutely. Chris Carlson, all those guys. Yeah, for sure. It was a great experience for me. And you know, if you're humble enough to shut
Justin
up
Nichols.
and
Justin Nichols was I put him on TV before.
And I'm friends with all those guys to this day. And it was such a great experience doing that. But you got to humble up.
And they made 2 men cry. Oh, no. There was one guy that cried, pulled me aside, and told me he had to leave on a Tuesday afternoon and cried in front of me where nobody else seen it. And then one guy did the same thing, had a breakdown and cried, pulled aside on a Wednesday. Didn't realize it was that hard to work.
Yeah.
So, I'm not the only one that makes people cry on their job.
No.
Carrie does. So would you like to tell that story, Carrie? This would be a good one to tell that story on.
What story? I don't think we're going to talk about that.
Okay. I'll remember
You
to tell
can
Kevin.
tell Kevin after we get done filming. Yeah. It's a little too soon.
Yeah. So you leave RTM after how many years you say?
9 years, yeah.
9 years. I was there too. I thought you were there longer. I thought you were there like 12 or 14 years.
No, it was 9. It felt.
But when
like
you worked, it was like,
felt like 12.
every year counted as 7. What'd she say?
It felt like 12.
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
But it's again, it's a dream job to most, but every job is still work. And you had to deal. The problem is a lot of times we had, like you said, you couldn't take pictures. If these people didn't send us proven parts, they sent us new parts, and sometimes we were the R&D shop.
Yeah.
To say this isn't right, we had to drill this and grind this, and because by the time so many months later, they wanted their new stuff on the shows.
Yeah,
and it wasn't.
Well, no,
it was every show.
They're anticipating a product launch and sending prototype in because they know in 3 months the TV is going to be. It's like a magazine article. It's 6 months down the road, right?
Yeah.
And we put in back in the early days of 3D printing these printed air inlet ducts for. I won't say who the manufacturer was, but we had.
I remember that. I think I was there for that. Yeah.
Yeah, but it looked just like the production version of it. But it was very fragile, so we had to not break the tabs off and stuff like that, and because they knew that they were in the middle of manufacture on it, and that's fine. That was kind of a fun part of it, but it was cool to be on that inside.
It was very cool. That they obviously trusted us to R&D their crap for.
Yeah. But I learned an awful lot about marketing too, and all of that stuff.
And there for a while, I didn't realize how hard a job that John Alvarado, we call him Avocado, had getting all them parts and dealing. But he would also track, we talked about your stuff this much, and like I would usually pop in. Mine was in the warehouse, and then it was 4 shows along that one wall, and then the other one was when Courtney was there. And I wouldn't go to the motor show as much because I really didn't get along with those guys as much, but they were so far, they were the other end of the building. So I'd stop and see you guys, I'd stop and see Tommy and Rick Bacon, and I'd stop and see Ian. And Jesse wasn't there then, and Chris. And if you didn't want, like, don't bother me, or we're really filming, you guys just put paper over your windows because even the front of the house people couldn't see what you were doing.
Yeah.
And you could lock your door because you're filming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it never stopped. It was just this machine.
And if you weren't filming, you were talking about what you're doing tomorrow and planning and prepping the parts and the sets and getting the lighting. I mean, that's why sometimes I have trouble watching automotive TV because it's like the lighting sucks. Or they're rushing it. You could tell the different production. And our RTM shows were always, if you look at the TV, they were pretty.
Yeah.
They were lighted right. They were videoed right. They were good TV. It really was.
Well, and it's allowed me to make better instructional videos, better training programs.
Yeah.
My YouTube channel.
Okay, so you left RTM.
Yes.
We're done with RTM now.
Yep. And my first vendor for Paintucation was Eastwood. And I had this long-standing relationship with Eastwood, still do. And Eastwood offered.
You had a non-compete for a little while, didn't you? Did you?
I did.
I did not. I never had a non-compete.
So I had a non-compete.
I think that's just because they didn't think I was going to last.
Quit interrupting him. He's trying to talk.
I had a non-compete for TV, but not for Paintucation.
If people can't see at home, I just flipped my wife off.
I had a clear, bold letter clause in my contract that as long as I didn't use trucks to advertise my company, I could still, as long as I didn't cross the streams.
And you were doing it before.
You wanted to influence the other. And that was the one thing, I was the exception because they made everybody else shut their business down and everybody else, you couldn't do a YouTube channel or anything like that.
Yeah.
But we had this arrangement and I was not even a pinky promise. It was hard written into the contract that I don't use their shows to promote my company. Yep. And I don't talk about their shows in any other media that I do. And I was writing articles as Paintucation and creating videos and training as Paintucation, but I never violated that clause in the contract. And so,
see, they didn't make me shut my shop down because when I had my 2 weeks off, I'd get everything ready, then I'd come back to my shop.
For sure.
But mine was a quarterly special. So mine was kind of the drama there. A couple of the other people, they didn't like it that I got to come and go and they had to stay there on,
And the other thing is I could never talk about Paintucation to any other employees because they would think, well, that's not fair.
Right.
But that's just how it was.
Yeah.
But that allowed me to leave trucks. And the next day I was a brand ambassador for Eastwood as Kevin from Paintucation because it wasn't television. It was a product.
It wasn't
rep.
Kevin from Trucks. It was Kevin from Paint Education.
Which I had been Kevin from Paint Education for 15 years prior to that, or 10 anyways, with Eastwood's. So it made me employed. I could step and still participate in the industry. And I started doing corporate videos for companies, and I started doing a whole lot more with Eastwood. We were doing live streams, and my company really expanded from that point. And I
even had your own like polish line for a little while.
I did for a while. It was one of the most important mistakes I ever made, because it taught me how to build margins into manufacturing product, how to do a white label, because I didn't invent polish. I was using somebody else's product. So it was super important to fall flat on my face, because I'll never do that again. But I did. I had Kevin's Car Care, and it was great. It was a great product line, and I lost my butt. So all of those things happened because I now was not saddled with that time suck that was the TV show. And, you know, it's been mostly good. There's been some lean years here and there, but for the most part, I get to do what I want to do. And now I can incorporate my wife into the business, and she's my camera guy, and she's always done the bookkeeping for both of our companies. And it's just been one of those things where I can live my life and sink or swim on my decisions instead of someone else's.
So what companies have you done film with? I know some of them, but maybe you don't want to mention all of them, but what you've done, like you said, Eastwood,
LMC truck. I've got like 26 tech videos on LMC trucks.
Yeah, you can still go, like some of them you can click, watch a video, and it's you doing an install video.
And we're doing a similar thing with Automotive Direct, and we're doing installs, your and my install on the OBS dash. What that's going to be is a QR code in the slip that goes in every package of somebody that buys that OBS dash.
And this is the thing, I'm doing an OBS truck for myself. I have a new mini jar system to put in.
Yeah.
And you're like, you can't put that in because the blinder on people, you said you tried this on some product one time. Well, all of a sudden the dash comes out, you see the original AC unit, and then all of a sudden the next, when we're putting the new dash in, the AC unit looks different. And most of the people at home watching that video that are home hobbyists will say that dash may not fit my truck because my AC don't look like that.
Yeah.
So I got to pull it back out to put my mini jar in.
Right.
But and then you explained that to me, and I was like, I get it. It's not a hot rod video. It's a OEM style of video.
Right. It has to interchange with the OEM style.
Yeah.
So I've done also videos with U-Pole, who's now been acquired by Axalta, which used to be DuPont.
Oh, I don't think I knew that.
Yeah, U-Pole is now a division of Axalta. Lots of for Raptor, and they had a British company. I've done videos for Summit Racing. I use their inexpensive, I don't see cheap paint, I say inexpensive paint. There's inexpensive single stage paint on my Rocket Miata. And I did some videos for them on how to make single stage paint look even better. And some of them are over 1 million views now on their YouTube channel. So, I mean, that shows the power of all of that stuff in YouTube, corporate videos. Who else? Axalta. They're using videos that I've made in their internal training department. I'm part of my contract with them is I create training products for them, and they support me like one of their training centers for product support. I've got the keys to all of their training tools, which is really important for me right now with what I'm doing with trade schools. So that's a great partnership with them. I've done videos for Anestewada spray guns, for Sada spray, for like Evercoat. I mean, lots of these companies, you know, that need somebody that understands how to present a marketing message, how to do video without fluff, and how to do a 7-minute video with a beginning, a middle, and an end, and the marketing message and good information.
And a real hands-on guy, not somebody reading a teleprompter.
Somebody that's credible. So that's the coolest thing that all of the is the ability to present something properly with authority because I know what I'm doing. I'm a good technician.
You're a great teacher.
Thank you.
I don't think I'm the best teacher. I'll explain it, but you are a great teacher.
Thank you very much. And I love teaching. I love passing that on. It's not an egotistical thing because I know this and now I'm going to teach you. It's seeing that joy, seeing that light bulb go off. That's what really drives me with that. It's really, really cool to see that you can influence somebody and have I'm not going to say a piece of their success, but you can help them along their way to achieve success.
You probably get a lot of people when you're doing, like now you're doing shows and stuff with AMD and filming at shows and question and answer stuff, that you probably get a lot of people come up and say, "Oh, I learned how to do this by watching your whatever
It's
video."
so humbling.
Yeah.
It's so humbling and amazing to be recognized like that. You know, the TV is one thing. That's great. You know, we were the best watched shows for a long time.
I hate when people come up that are like, I think they're the same age as us, but they're obviously not. I used to watch you when I was a little kid.
I had to
Really?
come to terms with
Really?
that.
Do you have to
Yeah.
say that? A little
Yeah.
kid, just say you used to watch this.
Yeah, for sure. But you know, the alternative to getting older is not getting younger. It's being underground.
Yeah.
So I mean, you got to own it at some point. I still feel good. You still feel good. You're not as old as I am, but
Under that age, I might hurt if I sleep wrong, if I have the wrong pillow.
well, there's that too.
Yeah.
But yeah, and
So before we get into what the teaching stuff you're doing now, which is huge, your new thing, let's quick. We've been talking for 2 hours here already.
oh, no,
Let's talk about your personal cars. You mentioned Jaded earlier.
Yep.
Some of the cars you've done, you've taken to SEMA, they've been in Wheel Hub, they've been in a
Yeah.
bunch of magazines, Mustang magazines. Talk about some of those that you've built.
and I always kind of cringe a little bit because they're not Tim Strange builds, and they're not Randy Borcherding builds, and they're certainly not Chip Foose builds, but they're my cars, and I'm proud of them.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, a second gen Camaro was the first project. We did a YouTube series with Eastwood, right, in 2014, and we did 19 episodes on restoring this car with all Eastwood stuff from the metal up, and it was a cool thing. And then the second version of that, I was almost a staff writer with CarCraft, and it became a magazine project, and we did twin turbo conversion on it.
Zed Sled.
And it was an amazing car. Did my first car that I ever drove on Power Tour. So did that. And Jaded was my first gen Mustang, and it had a 04 Cobra transposed into it on a full Schwartz chassis. That was a badass car.
Mm-hmm.
And it was nicely done too. And I'm proud of the proportions and the custom stuff that we did, even though it was all out of the box stuff. But I made that front end because it was the S197 headlights. We lengthened the nose to make the profile of those headlights fit, which belong on a car that's way wider than that Kleenex box first gen Mustang. So I'm proud of that. And that cetane truck that we did with Ian with Hands on Cars, on a Schwartz chassis again, that Cummins turbo 5-liter V8 diesel out of a Titan mid-engine. It was a bad to the bone little truck, skinned to 71 over as a 67. And so I'm proud of all of these vehicles. My Miata, I'm short. I can deal with a Miata. I know it's my little sister's car, but it's now got,
I look like Herman Munster when I sit in it.
550 horsepower because it's an LSA supercharger on an LS1 with all V8 Roadsters beefed up stuff. And it's the funnest car I've ever built and or driven.
Yeah, you're going to be at Triple Crown this weekend. Well, this is going to air after Triple Crown with AMD.
Yeah.
That would be the perfect car to take and have some fun with it. LS Fest. It really would.
I know, and I regret not going to LS Fest because that car needs to be there. But yeah, so all of these things I've been
able to do. We did a Jaguar for the wife. This is a great story.
Yeah.
It's what year, Jag?
It was a 1990 XJS Jaguar two-door. Beautiful silhouette. Beautiful Jag. Worst cars ever made.
Supposed to be for your wife.
Terrible cars.
What did she say?
I
know what she said. Okay, but don't make it.
Oh yeah. Okay. So her thing is, okay, yes, I like this car. I love the way they look. Just don't make it go. And I said, okay, we won't do it.
And it kind of did.
And guess
like
what we
that.
did? Yeah. But you know, it was still we did painless wiring, vintage air, BMW seats, LS engine, 4L80 transmission, and Holly everything. The only thing that was Jaguar was the body and the suspension on that car and the hood latch. The last thing I did to that car, the hood kept popping up because it opens forward. Dual latch is one single cable, pull cable. On a cam over style latch on the lever underneath the dash, driver's side. And the last thing I'm doing on this stupid car is adjusting because it would pressurize under the hood and one side would pop up. Well, it looks like Jethro Bodine driving this stupid thing. And this hood pops up. So it's like, okay, I got to tighten that latch up. So I figured out the cable and the mechanism because it's a twin latch on a single cable. They got to pull at the same time, center, not your asymmetrical pull, blah, blah, blah. Got it figured out. Tightened the latch up. The last time I tightened it, the latch itself, the handle fell apart in my hand. And I pulled it out from under the dash, which is really hard to get to. And instead of being a nut and a bolt on a pivot, it's a bradded pivot. and this tiny little thing on this thing. And I said words that I didn't even know existed, and I threw it across the room, and I went to work.
Are there Canadian cuss words that I don't know about in America?
They just end with A.
Okay.
But, you know, and I went home mad as a hornet, and I told Judy about it. I said, "That's stupid, blah, 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 blah." And she said, "That car's always going to be some little thing like that, isn't it?" And she had driven it at the time, and it felt good. It was okay, but it wasn't the luxury.
It wasn't going to be her daily driver.
It wasn't going to be the daily, and it was supposed to be. Because the whole thing was, I had a Pontiac G8, and she said, if we can get a car that has that power, that drives like that, and looks like an old Jaguar, that would be cool. And I was okay. I could build my wife a car, and it just disappointed us.
Did she pay the labor bill on that? I built a Corvair for a lady one time, and she's not fully paid.
She backed out of that bill.
Yeah, they always do.
No. So we sold it, and and that was over COVID, and I had a couple of contracts that disappeared when that happened, because when you're self-employed and the world dries up for a global pandemic, and you lose a lot of money in income, what do? We sold a couple things to live, and that car happened to be that was the timing of that Jag.
Hot rods are always a good savings account.
Yeah, for sure.
That's why we never keep the ones. The Chevelle's going to be for sale by the end of the year here.
So I've been super fortunate to be able to keep a lot of the contacts that I've had in TV and end up contracting to them.
And you're doing a Camaro right now.
And
it should have been thrown away.
It should have been thrown away. And I bought it for a parts car. I traded a $500 motor for it to Derek at Vice Grip. And because I had
I didn't know that was a Vice Grip garage Derek find.
Yeah, it was. That was he took the engine out of that car on his Roadworthy Rescues show. It was a 4-volt main 350. You put it in a pickup or something like that. And the car was a low mileage car because it got clobbered in the pillar on the driver's side, and it sat in a barn for a long, just 60,000 mile car. So the spring pockets, most of the frame rails were good. It was a vinyl top car, so the top was garbage. It looked terrible, and it was all bashed in the lower hinge. So I thought, well, I had a 76 Rally Sport. I'll use that as a parts car because I needed the nose, I needed the interior. It was an air conditioned car, and it had all the stuff I needed. The more I started looking at that car, it was way more solid than my 76. And so it's like, okay, this has got the better looking back window. It's got the flat glass on the back. What can we do here? And then I had signed on as a brand ambassador for AMD.
And they make everything for them.
They make everything for the second gen. So it's like, wow. And there was one sitting in their warehouse. It wasn't the RS front end. It wasn't the split bumper car. It had it was a typical Z28, just a standard front end. But they had done the conversion on it. I went, wow, I want to do that. That's the next Camaro I'm going to build. And then, we started bench racing and all that kind of stuff. And at that time, my YouTube channel started to pop a little bit, and it became the main project on my YouTube channel. So I'm really crazy about that car. I'm making a 70 Rally Sport Camaro out of a 74, and it's going to turn out to be a really neat car.
Cool.
Yeah.
When's that going to be done?
Yes.
It's not going to SEMA.
No, it's not good. No, I'm not that stupid. I've done that before. No, it's I am ambitiously going to say it's going to be a running driving car by the end of this year.
Okay. Not painted, just running driving.
Running driving, yeah. And
sheet metal's mostly done on it, right?
Sheet metal's mostly done. It's not in filler. I've done filler at the top of the A pillar, the B pillar sail panels. I did a lead substitute with that, and that was a cool episode. And got the front end completely built up with all of the parts, the Endura bumper, all of the bumperettes, everything lines up, total mock-up. And I'm doing it for a magazine article also for, it's called All Chevy Performance. It's the In Garage Media, Tim Foss and those guys. They've got really good books.
Licata's the editor of that magazine.
So Nick and I are working on stuff like that. So it's cool to write for magazines again.
They'll all be at Triple Crown here in a couple of days.
Yeah, we're going to meet up with them, and you're going to be a Triple Crown, right?
Yeah, I'm one of the interview. I get to work with Kevin Ostie again and interview people.
I love Kevin. Kevin's a good guy. Yeah. So I'm doing that, and I've got a 280ZX, and that's a blast from my past. I love those cars. I've got my 66 C10 truck that I'm going to build, and YouTube has really turned into this really cool thing to where I can bring stuff like that in. We do a version of teaching. I don't tell the full story. Because that's what my training videos are for. But we can pass on wisdom. We can pass on experience. We can teach people how to problem solve a little bit, you know.
So let's talk about what's going on with your teaching stuff.
Okay.
There's a lot of stuff that you were working on this for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's finally
Yes.
The word is accredited or something like that.
Yes, I've got my accreditation, which is incredibly difficult to do because it's a national recognition that you're up to a certain standard with your training. I proved to myself that anybody can make a video on how to paint a car, but to have a accredited program that's accepted, as long as the budget holds it, with any trade school in the nation, any high school shop program.
So they can get this training.
Yes.
And
because it's ASE accredited.
WildTech, there's not as many WildTechs anymore.
Right.
I went to a junior college in Bettendorf. They could use that.
Yes.
What's his name? Hot Rod Institute that started the WildTech program. They could use all that.
Lincoln Tech, McPherson College, all of these places.
And this took a long time.
It took a long time because I had to redo it. I started in 2020. Yeah.
But you had this idea for a while.
I had this idea. I wanted to get into trade schools. And I said, how am I going to do that? I don't know. It's a problem solved. How do I get into trade schools? And instructors were already using my paintification videos as curriculum because there's no potty mouth. I don't swear on them, and it's good. I pay attention to PPE. So they're good videos to use for training, but it's not formal training. And there's a difference. You went to a trade school. You know, there's a difference. There's curriculum steps that you have to follow. So
like when I was at WildTech, they had, Carrie's gone again. I was going to ask her. There was multiple locations. I know there was California, there was Pennsylvania, and then we would go and tell them, okay, you're doing this. You need to do this different.
Yeah.
Well, to get it, like the next year when we went back, I was like 5 or 6 years on that advisory board. They still wouldn't change it because it took so long to get approved through the board, and then get passed out and written down into the I think 4 locations.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like you just changed it overnight.
No, it's that world is really, I'm learning a lot about academia is what it's called. But anyway, I started the program on this special software that everything's online. There's tests, there's all this stuff. And I created a really great training program. And I was invited to present it at the ASE conference.
This was just recently, wasn't it?
This was 3 years ago.
Okay.
And I had this training program that was 2 years old. It was great. And I thought, well, let's get this into trade schools. And it's not what they needed. It was fundamentals, and it was good training and good curriculum. And a lot of the stuff, that's what Exalta is using because, anyway, it's just good, well thought out training that says what it needs to say in a very concise, short, that TV taught me how to do. Say that message in a short way, but have all the information there. Anyway, it was very professional, but it wasn't what instructors needed. So I spent the next year talking to instructors. I talked to 100 of them at that training conference, and I found out, okay, you need this, you need to fall into these guidelines. ASE has these things called task lists, everything from ADAS for lane avoidance stuff, for EV mandates, for plastic repair, all these things. So I had to choose my training for these 5 new categories that are nationally. I had to redo everything. I had to start from scratch, but I knew what I needed to do. And if I put this on a platter and serve it up to these instructors as either a teacher's aid or a standalone study that their students can do for homework, this is going to be accepted. And we created that. And I presented that the next year at this ASE conference. And they said, yeah, this is great. Are you accredited? And no, I'm not. So I spent the next year studying and getting my accreditation to where finally this year at this conference, which was a month ago, I was able to present it as an ASE accredited. Paintification is now an accredited curriculum designer and training provider. And that's huge. And I'm really, really proud of that. And it was a lot of work, and it cost a lot of money to not only make the programs, but also for the fees involved with that. Basically, I'm a digital content creator. That's what TV is these days. And my training is digital content. But they had to use their template for accreditation, which is like a brick and mortar trade school. So I had to fall through all the requirements of a brick and mortar trade school, like a Wyotech, like a Lincoln Tech, an advisory board. I didn't even know what advisory board. Now I have one. And all the different curriculum designs and needs assessment. Why did you create this? All this language that I didn't even know existed. And it was intensely difficult, but it should be, because you can't just say, hey, this is good training and you should have it. It should be difficult, and because it has to be of a super high standard. So we're there. Awesome. We're there. And now I've got a couple of schools that have taken it on as a pilot program, and they're signing back up for it again. I just had a phone meeting today with somebody, the vice president of ASE, George Arentz, and he's introducing me to other people. Brandon Eckenrode at the Collision Repair Education Foundation. We're hopefully going to be starting to work together to get it out in front of these instructors. Now that this is the task. So it's kind of a full circle moment. So I had this moment in 2000 with Paint Education, and I had this banging video on how to paint a car. All the things are done right. And I'm standing here in the middle of a room going, where's my market? Yeah. I don't know.
I know they're out there.
I know they're out there. Yeah. And this is a really great product, but I don't know who to sell it to. And I don't know how to sell it. So circle back to right now. I've got this banging training program that ticks all the boxes. It's short form. There's interactive moments that break up the long form videos. There's nothing more than 7 minutes long. And these videos are great. There's 20 of them in a module, but they're short and the instructors can use them for homework. So all of these things are right there. And I'm standing here starting over again, and I'm knocking on doors and high school shop programs. So that's where I'm at right now. But I've got a great training program. I feel qualified because I've been doing this paint education for 26 years now. I know how to do this now. So I'm really confident in what I've got, and I just have to get it in front of the right eyeballs. So it's one of those things where, you know, I finally figured out what I want to do when I grow up, is I want to be a trade school teacher.
We're not going to grow up.
No, I know. But it's been a ton of work.
Not a trade school teacher.
No.
All the trade school teachers.
So here's the deal. I can open up a school and I can do classes, and I'm going to do hot rod classes at my shop. And I keep saying that. I keep postponing it. But
then people will know where your shop is.
Well, yeah, there's that. But I can only be in one place at one time. But if I do training that's digital, there's 15 collision repair programs in each state on average. If I can be in half of them, then I can do some good. I can do some good in this industry, you know? So that's my goal now.
You can do more good. You've already done a lot of good in the industry.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. But
do you still do your classes where you can get, like my buddy Mike Regula signed up? Do you still do that, or are you just doing this accredited thing now?
Oh, no, we're still doing those. That's the digital training. We've got different versions of that. Okay. I'm coming out with more stuff, and I want to pick your brain on some stuff I want to do. There's such a need in the industry for people are starving for this information. They're just getting it different places now.
Even big shops or good or well-established shops, they're always looking for more info to improve. Like Tyler Kraus, he does True Blocks.
Yeah.
He has a book that he sells. He sells sand and blocks, and he gives pointers on social media. Like every
and
other
he's
day. Really
good at it.
Yeah, and he does high-end cars, Riddler cars, Amber cars, all that stuff. And there's people, like, I'm sure if you went through and looked at all the people that bought your videos, there's some pretty badass people that have bought your videos, but they don't, like you say, they don't publicly want people to know,
right? Because
I'm already supposed to know this.
Yeah.
And like, same thing, like he's helping people, and like I've been doing this a long time. I had Jason Kilmer, does wet sand and polishing for a lot of the big shops, travels all over, done Riddler cars, everything. I had him come help me on a car about a year and a half ago, and he's always been good. And I've worked with him before on a car when I was still in Illinois, and he's also learned more stuff. So when he comes, it gets me that much better.
Yes,
you know, I pay him to come. It's like a one-on-one class, but he's also helping me finish this car. And there's always people. We always need to. If you think you're perfect and you know everything, you don't.
Here's the other thing too. to train somebody on the job is expensive because it takes that technician off of the job. So if you can get a little bit closer, some independent shops have used my training it's called onboarding. When you hire new people, get them up to speed on terminology, on the basic skills, on some practice exercises, so that they're not starting completely green when they walk in the door. Hot rod shops need that. So I'm hoping to get in the doors of some of these shops. And Kevin Ostie's got a big shop, and he and I have talked. Once my training is ready and accredited, they may want to try it.
Yeah.
Some independent collision shops might want to try it because we deal with modern stuff.
There's more collision shops than there are hot rod shops.
100% for sure. And there's more turnover in those collision shops too. So there's always a market for. We just have to get recognized that we have this resource for people, whether it's somebody in the hobby shop that Mike Regula took the Paint Education 101 course, and it helped him. He's coming out the other end of it. He's better as a hobby guy. And those are the things that we're going to keep doing. We're going to do block sanding videos, how to properly do surface creation is what I'm calling it. How to look at. I can't ever be Jason Kilmer. He's got training. He does training classes, and he's great at it. He's an amazing craftsman, technician, and a teacher, but he can't be everywhere at once either. And I've got a video called Color Sanding and Buffing. I want to do a version of that for show cars. So I want to create all of this stuff. It takes time to do, but there's as I develop this platform, I want to introduce more and more of these training products and just do better at it and give more options for people that want to learn.
So if somebody's watching this and they're instructor or their supporter, donor to a local college, where do they go to, hey, we want to look at this to get it into our school?
Painteducationu.com.
Painteducationu.com.
Or
and the letter U, not Y-O-U.
Correct. Painteducationu at the end.com. That's the new website we're just about to launch. And I've even got a little mock-up course to show the flow, to show my teaching style, to show some of the tests that are ingrained into this training. And it's completely free. There's 5 or 6 little modules. It's on airflow dynamics and how to work with airflow as a paint strategy. You know this because you're a painter. You don't even think about this anymore, but you're working against the wind and the airflow.
Oh, I've been trying. My main paint company that I was with for 25 years discontinued my base and my clear.
Yeah.
So I've been trying all this stuff.
Yeah.
So the airflow is different and stuff. And the pressure you're spraying and the flash times, it's all like I've been learning all this over trying 5 or 6 different paint companies. And I ain't found my happy spot yet. I'm really upset that that the company got rid of all my stuff. I was a DuPont and Exalta guy for years and they got rid of Chroma Premier.
The 7900S is gone. I love that clear coat. But so I've got a free training course so people can go and kind of test drive the whole system and my teaching style to see if they like it or not. And there's good information on it. So that's on the website. And, there's just, I'm so excited about it. You can probably tell by my energy. I'm excited about it, that it's finally here. And the missing piece to the whole puzzle was becoming ASE accredited. And
so when I worked in the collision shops, I never took an ASE test.
Yeah.
Because I was that asshole. Because there was some guys, they went all of them and they had their sleeve and show the people, the clients that come in, the customers, the frame, the diploma thing on the wall. And I was that asshole because I knew I didn't want to stay in a collision shop. I wanted to have a hot rod shop. Yeah. Everybody said you couldn't do that. And I'm like, does that make my paycheck more? Does it give me 10 cents more an hour?
Yeah.
And the place I worked at said no.
No. And so why would you do it?
Well, I think some of them now, if you've got whatever level, you get an extra kick in your hour.
There's certain collision shops that have to have a certain percentage of their employees being ICAR ICAR trained and certified and ASE certified. ASE has been more mechanical traditionally, and ICAR has been more collision traditionally. Okay. But ASE is coming into that more and more, and they realize the importance of that training in collision repair and that lane, if you will, in automotive training and all of that stuff. So,
and the more as we go into this world of computers and all that stuff, the people, I'm a big Mike Rose supporter, the people that work with their hands, the body technicians, the mechanics, the plumbers, the guy that hammers a nail, the construction guys, good career path
For sure.
Very.
So let's talk about ADAS, lane avoidance, radars, all that kind of stuff, sonars, lidars, all the R's that are on these cars. Guess what that's heading to? It's heading to autonomous vehicles, self-driving vehicles. There's already fleets of trucks that are out there. I don't care for it either. However, collision repair technician, there's no such thing as an autonomous collision repair technician. AI is not going to put the new fender on the car. People are always going to damage cars. People are going to run into that autonomous truck. Bad things are going to happen to vehicles. It's personal transportation. There's always going to be a job for a technician in that field. And also, a good friend of mine went into collision repair on his GI Bill, and he wanted to do that. He wanted to eventually build hot rods. And he ended up doing that. And then he's a smart guy. He started doing some stuff, being aware of all the lane avoidance and all the sensors on these vehicles, studied up on that, got certified in that, got plucked from a body shop to go into a place that goes to different body shops and recalibrates all of these things.
I can't imagine trying to learn that stuff now. So I've been out of that collision world for so long.
It's amazing. So he's now got this career path that didn't exist 5 years ago. And he's getting paid extremely well, and he loves it because it's something new, something different every day. This technology is constantly evolving. So these career opportunities are popping up more so than ever. And then EV, like it or not, electric vehicles are here. You know, ironically, they were the first cars that weren't drawn by horses. Electric cars were the first ones, So full circle moment there. So, you know, when I get to speak in front of students or colleges or whatever, it's an always ongoing opportunity that continually reinvents itself and presents itself again. You're never going to be without a job. And if you play your cards right, you can use that as a foundation for an amazing career, no matter what you want to do. So that's the thing that drives me these days. And it's I don't know, I still get to keep my hands dirty. I still get to build stuff. I still get to test myself and get better as a technician, as a painter, as a car builder, whatever you want to call that, as a welder. It's fun, you know, and at the same time pass on skills to somebody else. It's pretty cool.
Awesome. This has been a phenomenal.
I got my question, and you have your two questions.
I do have my questions. We are going on 2.5 hours. I still got to go to Walmart tonight. So
my question is, after you get the Camaro done, what is there a car that you would like to build someday?
Yes. It's kind of the one that got away. I had a 57 F100 in high school. And it's a 1-year front end single headlight truck. I long for that truck. I want that truck, but to do it right. So someday I'll do that one.
Carrie, your two questions?
So my two questions being from the events world is question number 1 is what event is your favorite event to go to? And the second part is what is one event you've never been to, but it's on your bucket list?
Hot August nights. I hear great things about hot August nights. I would love to do that. And I also want to do the Syracuse Nationals. And so those two events, I know you said one, but those two I want to go. AMD went to Syracuse this year, and I had the chance to go, but I couldn't.
I've been once. It's a neat event. I've never been to Hot August Nights. I got a buddy that goes every year. He really likes that.
And so as far as what was the other question?
Favorite.
What's your favorite event that you've ever
been to?
My
favorite event to date? Let me think. I love them all. I love going. It used to be SEMA, and I still love going to SEMA, but I think I'm going to have to say Good Guys Columbus. And a close second to that is going to be LS Fest, because I don't know. It's just such a fun, laid back event, and everybody welcomes everybody there, and nobody's got a stick in their butt about, I don't know. There's a little bit of humor happening, because you see LS swapped, Ford.
Yeah, you see some goofy stuff and
really strange things that happen.
not stuff that I would
Fest.
build, all of them.
Yeah,
but they're having fun with their cars and they're out there. Because when you go to LS Fest, you're usually out there driving. You're autocrossing, you're abusing your cars, and allegedly sometimes going the wrong way on an autocross course.
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
that was that was the Jaguar that year, wasn't it?
No,
it was Zed Sled, wasn't it?
That was no. I did pretty good with Zed Sled at LS Fest. I shaved off some pretty good times. I was up there with kind of the big boys. It was with the Mustang, I think.
Oh yeah. But
that's when I got.
There's a reason I announce autocross. Mm-hmm. That's when I give people a hard. There's a reason I announce instead of drive, and most people don't catch that when I'm giving a hard time. And I was like, "Well, you're not driving." Exactly.
The one I'm going to regret not going to is Mo Party, but I guess we can do next year, right?
Yeah,
that's right. You are right. You are going to regret it because it's going to be epic.
I know, and I had somebody present me with an incredible opportunity, and I just had to pass it up. I just couldn't. Well,
hopefully next year you'll be driving a van too.
Yes, down by the river.
Yeah, I think once this first one, and then there'll be.
Yeah.
Well, before it gets away from me, I just want to say thank you to you, Tim and Carrie, for not only being great friends and being people that I know are stand-up folks that I can count on. And if I know you're going to be there if I say, hey, I need you. Mm-hmm. And it means the world to me, but also for what you guys do for this industry and this podcast being one of the things. I'm proud to know you, and it's a privilege being in your circle. So thank you for that.
I wish one thing we got to hang out more, but we're always so busy.
Yeah.
We've grabbed dinner every once in a while. We love your wife. She is awesome. They're animal lovers too, everybody. So that's we got that in common. But we were just talking about that. Are you happy you moved to Tennessee? We were driving down the road yesterday. She's like, yes, I am. So this is all on Kevin.
It's my fault.
I mean, no, we love being here. We love Tennessee. We love our area. We like our house. It's great.
Thank you. You and Judy have been.
Thank you. I speak highly of you. I do bust your balls about autocross driving because you can't be, perfect at everything.
Well, and I don't have a flat
the things you do for the industry is incredible, and I mean that. You're a great teacher. I wish great things for you. I hope this blows up. Just don't forget us little people.
I hope so.
But it's always a pleasure to see you. You're one of the most positive lights in this industry. Oh, wow. Like I say, if somebody asks if they know you do stuff like Kevin Tetz. Well, I don't teach like Kevin, but you and Chip Foose and guys like that are the cream of the crop in this industry and good people. So
thank you, man.
I mean, you've cussed me out a couple of times when we worked on stuff, but I probably had it coming. I never threw a 2x4 at you. But,
and I might have snuck a DA sander in there once or twice to sand off and polish some panels, but hey.
Yeah, you did. We had a lot, but we didn't have much time.
Well, this has been fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
This was the hardest one that we have had to book.
But it's been great.
Last time we tried to get you on was when you were prepping the week or two before you went to present. So
and it was intense.
I mean, you've had legitimate excuses when you stood us up.
Yeah,
many.
It's all good.
Many times.
Well, we did it.
But you always said, you didn't say no. It's like, oh, we'll have to reschedule, or we'll get it, whatever. And then we'd get a few other people. And this was like, hey, we needed somebody this week. And she kind of forgot that she was going to be up there. And
it's all good. Technology. We can do it. We can do whatever.
Yeah. Well, and hopefully this won't be the last time.
No, I'm not very good on a computer. You got here when I was like that scene in Zoolander. It's in the computer and he's shaking the computer. That's pretty much what was going on when you got here.
Yeah, Tim was having a little breakdown, a little Timmy tantrum.
Yeah, almost a Timmy tantrum. I didn't throw the computer though.
All right, awesome. Well, thank you very much, Kevin.
Yeah, we want to thank Kevin Tetz for being a guest on the Strange Motion Way podcast. One more time, tell them where they can find you on social media. And
my YouTube channel is Paintucation by Kevin Tetz. Kevin Tetz Facebook, Paintucation Facebook. Instagram is @PainTetz. And my website is paintucationu.com. Paintucation.u.com. Come and see us.
All right. Thank you.
The Strange Motion Way podcast, brought to you by
Royal Purple, premium synthetic motor oils and high-performance chemicals have been designed to improve performance, provide long-term protection, and give you the confidence to push your vehicle to the limit. Royal Purple Premium Synthetic Motor Oils.
Hey welders, ready to upgrade your gear and save some serious dough in the process? The Miller Build with Blue Savings and Rebate Program has you covered. Find amazing deals and cashback rebates on a wide range of Miller products, from welders to plasma cutters and everything in between, all backed by our 3-year warranty. Don't let this opportunity pass you by. Take advantage of the Miller Build with Blue program now. Visit us online or stop by your nearest Miller distributor today to start saving.